sucks. Well, welcome to the Spare Note Show. Let's get this thing rolling, I guess. Hopefully, I have no more issues. I'm live in the Drew Estate Cigar Studios. I'm joined once again by my good friend Kevin and Coop, as you probably know. My good friends that do this show with me every week. Yeah, it's Saturday night once again, and I always look forward to the Spare Note Show because the Spare Note Show is. I had this conversation with someone recently. It was someone who said we were talking about the shows, and I was describing the different shows, and I don't really think about it a lot, so I was like putting some thought into. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm like the Spare Note Show is kind of like my open sandbox show. Like I can kind of do like whatever I want to, because we don't do guests on the show. For those of you who noticed, you know, if you've been watching along with us, you probably know we never really have guests. So you don't have a guest to prepare for and stuff like that. It's not. I don't want to say it's all news driven, but it's topic driven. But it's, you know, some of it's news, some of it's just other things that don't necessarily have to be like a very current event. It's very open. It's a very open show, and that's what I like about it because it can be very spontaneous and very creative, and it's a good time. And it's also a good place for everyone to air out all their grievances, like industry stuff that comes up. You know, like, oh hey, like so and so, I saw this and blah blah blah. So it's kind of cool. So I always look forward to it because the other show, you know, it's just a little bit more planned out and stuff like that. So it's just when you're producing a show and all of that, it's really cool. It's just really cool to have the freedom, I guess, is what I'm getting at. So I always look forward to Saturday nights. Plus, it's a later night. Now it's after my daughter's asleep, and so I don't have to worry about that. And it's nice. I can just kind of take my time with it, which is cool. And I get to see Kevin and Coop, which is awesome too. So
And see, that's the best part of the whole thing. You get to see me and Coop.
I
I mean,
know, I know.
where would your life be if it wasn't for me and Coop?
Kevin, do you already have your new microphone set up?
I do not.
Oh, I saw like an arm coming through, and I'm like, oh, does he already have that new setup?
No, I've been running it. Literally, like I literally just got the notification that it is actually sitting at the front door as we speak.
Not in
So it
time.
was just a little bit. I wouldn't have used it tonight anyhow, because then I would have been the one that was frustrated with technological difficulties.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't mean to get so upset either. It's just, you know, you put a lot of effort into stuff, and when it's just for no reason at all, like, you know, all your things fall out of place. It's very aggravating. It is because, you know, you want, and Coop's been doing this a long time, and he'll back me up on this. You know, you want to be, you want to put a show, regardless of what is said on the show, because most people who know me now know that I don't really filter myself, which I do on purpose. I do that because I don't feel that there's a need to, you know, hide behind a curtain or, you know, I try to give people the straight and honesty. You know what I mean? I'd rather be honest and open and straightforward and show my emotion than pretend. You know, I want people to know that while they may not like what I always have to say, at least I'm being honest with them. But outside of that, at least the mechanics of the show, I like to be executed properly. And when you have to rely on this system software, it's a nightmare. It really is. Oh man, it's just what a waste of opportunity there. I hate that. It really does. It gets me so upset. And I can kind of fix it later, but still, for a live show, people take the time to be here and watch the show. I like things to be executed the right way. I'm very like OCD like that. So, but I know, Kevin, you and I have had our fair share of technical issues together, and there, I mean, I'll be honest with you. There was an incident, and Coop was involved too. Coop seems to always get dragged into our situations now, to the point where you know, if I started getting a bill from Lisa on behalf of, you know, the Cooper residents, like billing for their time. You know what I mean? Like, oh well, you know, well Coop had to be there for 2 hours. Like, I'd be like, you know what? Like, I'm not even gonna dispute this. I'm not even gonna argue it. Like, you know,
It,
I've had to have you bail us out.
internet diagnostics fee from Cigar Coop Inc. for like $12.99.
Well, it's funny because so we had an incident last weekend where Kevin was working on an article on the website, and we were trying to um, get some photos like formatted and aligned on the article page. Sorry, I gotta twist this camera because it just looks like it's a little out of place. Look at that. And Kevin was the one who was like all bent out of shape, like I just was. Although if you thought that was bad, you weren't there when Kevin got upset. So, I'm sitting
I'm
there.
old and grumpy, so I have an excuse. I'm allowed to be upset because I could be like the old guy sitting and waving my cane at everybody.
You don't have to be old to get upset. You just have to. You have to be able to justify it, and I feel like most of the time I can justify it. But no, I mean there's Kevin getting bent out of shape, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, I'm feeling useless because I feel like I'm the one that's supposed to show him how to use the website, and I don't have a solution to this problem, and I don't know what to do either. So, what did I do?
You reached out to Coop.
I called Coop. I said, Coop, I need you to be here. I need you to come bail us out once again. And what did Coop say? Oh, no problem. Give me 5 minutes. And we all got on a Zoom call, sharing some screens, picking Coop's brain, and we still didn't figure it out.
Because I had no clue what I was doing.
No. It's not because Coop wasn't good enough. I want to make that very clear. Coop had some solid suggestions, and we were like, okay, and we tried them. And they just didn't work, but that's not on him. He tried. Nobody knew.
I'm not a technical guy.
What was the lesson that we learned in that? That any time that you have an internet or media or anything to do with like modern tech, what do? You call the young guy. Because Mitch was in there for like 18 seconds and goes, got it.
Wow.
Boy wonder. There you go. Boy wonder. So he figured. Wait, the thing you guys
and he lives in Canada too.
He figured it out.
There's so many things I want to say, but I know I can't.
That's what I'm saying. That was exactly. I'm telling you, in those situations, I'm very untechnical. My job's content, so it's like really tough. If I know something, I can try to help, but. Yeah, see, Boy Wonder, it's a different story. You're right, you call the young guy.
I don't know. I see a comment from my wonderful wife up here that says, yes, I was. No, you can't, husband. So it sounds like I'm getting in trouble for something, and I don't even know what I'm getting in trouble for.
Here's the reality. When you're a married husband, you're in trouble all the time. So that's just the reality.
Barb is the female version of me, so I usually do pretty good at steering out of trouble.
Yeah,
steering clear of trouble, I should say.
Yeah, you do your best, but no one's invincible. We all shall fall. But I forget what we talked. Oh yeah, so I mean, yeah, once again Mitchell comes in, and he bailed us out, and I was like, wow. And
Boy.
I don't think it was 100% perfect, but he did a job that was good enough that we were like, you know what, we're satisfied. Let's put it out. So
yeah, I would go. It was like 99.7, and we were good.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it to him. I mean, Mitchell showed up. He answered the call. In the final hour, and was like, let me do something, and he made it happen. And I can't take that away from him. I got to give it to him. Mitchell was a team player that day, and we owe him for that. So.
And looking back at it, it was a fucking stupid problem to have in the first place.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it was a photo layout issue. Like such a small detail, but that's the problem. Because again, this is where I circle back to what I started bitching about at the beginning of the show. Kevin and I are very similar. We are very detail oriented. We're very detail focused. I spend a lot of time, looking at a lot of websites and, watching other shows and listening to things. And so I pick up on things, and I see the things that people do that I personally like, I personally don't like. I pick up on things that I perceive as a mistake, things I know is a mistake. And I try to, have that data in my mind whenever I do certain things, and I try to think like when I do something, like, how can I do the best job I can? And Kevin's like that too. So when it comes to like little details, like the way certain stuff on our website is, laid out, and then when it loads, does it load the right way? Do things line up? And things that I bet you a lot of people who would go to the website and like read articles would see and maybe not notice, or maybe they would, but they wouldn't think anything of it or care and be like, it's fine. And me and Kevin see it and we're like, oh, what an abomination. And it needs to be fixed. And this was one of those things where normally you see something and you're like, oh shit, it's a quick fix. You just log in and you make some adjustments, update the page, and you're done. This was something that literally was perceived as so simple, and we spent hours on it. And it was a photo like alignment issue, and it was a nightmare. It really was. And even Coop had to suffer through it, and I feel bad because now he's suffering through it again.
Yeah, that's all right.
I feel bad. Coop's got to deal with.
You ladies, I know have it tough. Yeah.
Wow. Now you just want to kick us while we're down.
Now see shots fired. Wait a minute. How did I get? I'm not down. I'm actually in good news tonight.
You're down by association.
But it is funny seeing Matt when you were like, you were so frustrated. You are funny, Matt, when you're frustrated. I know it's not something to laugh at when you are frustrated.
No, it's okay. I'd rather you laugh about it.
I mean, I go back to, I remember PCA last year.
Oh, here we go.
And I'm over with Boofy, right? And Kevin, you were there, right? But I don't know if you saw this happen. I'm with Boofy, right?
Oh, Kevin
and
knew.
We're talking. And the next thing, Matt comes storming into the booth. I'm like, hey, Matt, what's up? He's like, oh, I can't deal with you right now. He's like, and then he goes into the back by and I know you were having I didn't know you were having an equipment issue.
We're having a crisis. That's what we were having. I was down to one person. I had a camera problem with a camera that wouldn't record. I was all by myself. We're halfway to the trade show. I'm way behind schedule. I'm a day behind schedule. I'm just like out in the middle of the ocean with nowhere to go. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing right now.
And then the next thing I see is, so I'm in the booth, right? And I'm talking to Boofy, and I see Matt. He's on the floor. Like, I don't know, you on the
back.
floor.
In the back.
In the back by the stripper pole, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost threw in the towel right there. I almost
did.
It
wasn't something I would laugh at you then, but I think we can laugh at it a little now. You know what I'm saying? It's
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. I wouldn't laugh. I mean, I knew you were pretty upset. I'm like, Bear looks at me. He's like, nah, he must be dealing with something. Is all I can tell you. Because I've been.
He was steaming. That was the COVID trade show, right? Didn't Nicole end up getting sick?
Oh yes, yeah. That was yeah. I mean, we made up for it. We made up for it with this year's trade show. Because this year's trade show, we kicked ass. So that this year's show made up for it. Yeah. Last year's show, in hindsight, you got to remember too, usually when I come out for a trade show, I'm really ready to go. I'm focused. Like I'm preparing for it on the plane. I had been in Las Vegas for several days before the show even started because I got married. So, I was there from like July 3rd or the 4th. I was there like for a whole week, and then the show started. Like I was there before even the early people showed up for the trade show and doing all of that. So I had all that going on, and then when I got to a point where normally you're like, all right, I'm done and I'm going home. This vacation's over. It was like, no, now it's time to And and then Nicole got sick, and I'm just like, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck happened, and it's just, I made it work. I put some coverage out there, but man, it was not what I wanted, and I won't hide from it. I'll tell you, I was not happy with our coverage last year at all. But unfortunately, there was only so much I could do, and I was able to still salvage enough that I was able to put stuff out there. But when we went into the show this year, I was so, and then Nicole wasn't going to be there because she was pregnant, and But I was just I made sure like, okay, Nicole definitely won't be there this time, but that's okay. I don't need Nicole there as long as I have everything works, I know what I'm doing, and our team knows what they're doing, and we did a great job. So I'm really proud of the
There's a
guys this year.
few hiccups, but
Nothing, yeah, but nothing that was worth
like
even.
me forgetting to start the camera during an interview.
Yeah, but
that we had to go back and do 3 times to get it right.
Yeah, but that happens. I mean, that stuff can happen.
That happened.
That's not That's not like when you lose like half the team and the team is 2 people, and then the camera won't record, and you're trying to fix it and it won't cooperate, and then you got to pull out your laptop, plug the camera in. Yeah. And then you're waiting for the memory card to download, not because it's full, but just because you need to get valuable stuff off so you can reformat the memory card and try that, and then that kind of works, and then then you go back out there and whew, man, and then then at that point you're already in panic mode, so then you're just like you're doing your thing, but you're just not focused, and you just feel like you're playing from behind, and it's tricky.
Oh, so 2017 actually was my year. I had really bad trade show coverage. Yeah. I had to like apologize to me. So there was one day I left the floor early. I had a migraine, okay?
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it. I said I have to just recharge. It was part of a series of things I had. What do you think I get the next day when I come back on the trade show floor? Or at the end of the trade show? Oh, you didn't come see my booths. I got about 10, 12 people complaining that I didn't come see their booths. And I was doing this myself, to keep it in mind, the trade show coverage. I had a headache, right? And I'm like, really? This is the pettiness of the industry that we have. Like, I had 12 people, like, and they it wasn't like they were joking. They were upset.
You know what's funny about that is, as a team, like, I don't think we filmed. I don't think we filmed or completely covered this, but I know that between the 4 of us, we walked into and spent time at over 125 booths at the
easily.
Trade show.
Yeah, we were freaking rocking.
And I still got phone calls this year or comments in passing like, "Oh, you came to the booth." Some of the people, it was like, "Well, I came to the booth and you weren't there." And I'm not going to stand around waiting for you all day because I have 125 other booths to get to. And then you get the people like, "Oh, you didn't come by," and I'm like,
I'll go better, Matt. So I got from
several so much we could do.
I got from several people, "Oh, you didn't come by the booth, right?" And I said, "Really?" I said, "Here's the article that I tagged you in, right? That we wrote up. No, we didn't shoot video with you, but we did write an article on you. What do you mean I wasn't at the booth? By the way, we tagged you on it, So I got that."
Yeah. It's amazing to me too.
The stories I can give you of this is hysterical.
You probably have a long list of stories. I'm starting to make my collection of stories.
Okay, you don't want to talk to me before the trade show, right? But now you're calling my so there's another one. Now you're getting me going, right? So another great one is, we try to reach out to companies before the trade show to share coverage, and they don't want to do it with us, right? And that's fine.
Chuck's here.
Well, and then what they're doing is they're calling my phone in the middle of the trade show. Like, can you come by the booth?
Oh, I hate that.
Like, by the way,
I fucking hate that.
By the way, don't do it unless you don't want me to go to your booth. Like,
no.
I first of all, Matt knows I don't keep my phone like active during the trade show anyway, so it's gonna do you no good.
Coop doesn't keep his phone active like between the hours of 6 p.m. and 9 p.m.
I usually nap during that time.
Or there's a game on. Like you cannot reach Coop at dinner time.
Especially
on a Tuesday or Thursday.
We were talking about this on KMA. Well, because you're doing shows, but we were talking about this on KMA. Alex even said, he goes, "Yeah, during a Phillies game, I can't get hold of Coop." He's like, he's off the. I said, "Yeah, I'm off the grid." I've always been good at separating. So at a PCA trade show, like trying to call me to come to your booth, first of all, is lame, right? But second of all, it's useless because you ain't gonna get me. Like there's no like my wife has my other phone number, right? So if there's an emergency at home, that other phone number she can call, and if I know if that other phone rings, it's an emergency. So.
Yeah.
And that phone
we
number is not
actually
giving out
had.
to anybody. That's my.
I
That's
mean,
my,
like
that's
I had
just another
several
phone.
people. I had several people like actually like come up to me at the show this year. Hey, can you guys come to our booth? I don't know, Coop, if you do ever experience
Oh,
that.
I do. Yeah, I do. And you know, it's funny. I've had conversations after. I said, look, have conversations with her before the trade show, and I said, please don't let me read about your stuff from another media site. I said because then I'm not really interested in covering you. It said, but we really want to be familiar with some of your stuff before we go to the trade show, so we can do better coverage at the trade show.
I mean,
So
I
yeah,
will say, I mean, it's at least my opinion of it is that, I mean, we covered a couple booths that we probably would not have covered had these people not come up and grabbed us.
Look, occasionally it does happen, and we get suckered into it, and occasionally it's actually not a bad thing, but sometimes it's a company that's never tried to reach out to us before either, and
Right.
then it gives me a reason to have a conversation saying, look, this is how we work, that we only have X number of booths we can cover, and the best way to ensure you get covered is communicate with us.
Oh Christ.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, the ones that we did, I mean, a couple of them weren't so great, and like a couple of them ended up being, maybe some of our better coverage from the show. So it worked out. I mean, in the long run, if it's a newer
Yeah.
company, at least they know, they learn right then and there, how it works and what you need to do next year, and be better
Yeah.
prepared and come better prepared.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you guys this year, I said you guys did an incredible job with your coverage this year,
Thank you.
especially having a new team in place. That was a great, because it's tough. We had a new team in place in 2021, and we had some growing pains. Not that we did a bad job, but you guys did a great job your first year. So you should be very, very happy how that's gone, and it's only things you could build on. And you may have a stumble here and there, but I think you guys are in the right direction here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Coop. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. And
Yeah, me too, man. That means a ton coming from you.
it's true, and there was a lot of preparation, a lot of time was spent. I also, and Kevin knows, I know how to keep people on track, and I think that's all I need to say. I made sure that those guys were ready, and I made sure that they knew when we walked out on that floor, and it was time, and I sent them off on their own, they were ready to go. And when I walked into the trade show in that first minute, and I went this way and they went that way, I looked at Kevin and I said, go kick some ass, get it done. And he did. And I knew he was ready to go. And so was mentioned.
I mean, that's where I had benefit. That's where I had benefit of of working the show before and on both sides of it. So I had a little. I mean, yes, I'm new to the team, but I had a little bit of advantage because it wasn't my first rodeo, so I had somewhat of an idea of what to expect. So that helped a lot.
Yeah, and
definitely,
it ain't easy, man. It is not easy.
It's not, and we got another show coming up soon because of the schedule change, and I'm hoping that now that these guys already have one show under their belt, and there were some things that I won't discuss publicly because it's a team discussion, but and nothing major, but the team we had discussions after the show, and they know the things that they need to improve on for the next show, and nothing nothing too drastic, but I think that going into the next show, like they have the experience of that first show, they know how it works, but they also know the mistakes that they made the first time, and I know they won't make them again. So as well as they did the first time, I expect them to be just the absolute best the next time around. And I think that there's
well, unless you're out there screwing
no
up,
reason
you're
to
never
doubt
gonna
them.
learn. So yeah, I mean, you got to make mistakes to learn, right? So I mean, it was definitely a learning experience. I mean, there was mistakes made. To your point, it's like some of them were just like so like basic, simple stuff that the mistake was made. It's like, how the hell did I forget to do this, or how the hell did I do that? But you know what? Now you know, and you make it. You put it on your punch list. So now you just go down the list as you get ready to go and start through the show, and you're not going to forget.
Every year you're going to come out of there, and there's going to be things you need to improve on. It's every year, and if you don't have things to improve on, then you're probably doing something wrong. Is what I'm saying.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I will be right back.
Well, I mean, I would think, someone even to your caliber, Coop. I mean, when you go to the show every year, when you come out of it, it's like, I could have done this better. I could have done this different or whatever. It's like, there's not anyone out there that knows it all.
Yeah, I agree. When we went in 2021 with the 4-man team, that was the first time we had ever really all gotten together as a team, right? So we had only put that team together 3 to 4 weeks before the show. So, because Ben joined the team very late, we weren't even planning on doing video coverage 2 years ago. So believe me, we knew it was a shotgun wedding when that happened. Last year we changed a bit. We had a good one. This year, I think we had our best coverage ever. There were a lot of personal. Everyone on the team seemed to have a personal challenge this year, outside of cigars. There was something going on with everyone on the. In fact, Nielsen had to go home. So there was some challenges for sure with that. But I think we were at a point that if someone had to go home, someone else could fill in. So we were well prepared. But last year was definitely a challenging show off the trade show floor for the Coop team, for sure. Everyone had their challenges last year. So
I think that's one of the things when we relocate to NOLA in 25, where there may be some challenges presented. Because I mean, with Barb and I living here, logistically, it just makes some things easier because we're here in town. So if you
already know the lay of the land.
You got to run and do that. You can go out and make it happen. Where if you're in NOLA, none of us know anything. So there could definitely be some challenges that are unexpected that just don't happen here.
I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. Oh no. One thing I was gonna say is but I mean, at least the one thing with New Orleans is, well, I'll have to kind of deal with that together. And the only thing we can really do is just do our research and prepare, ask the PCA all the questions that we need to, and just cross our fingers. I hope that it goes well. I mean, it's going to be new for everybody. I mean, yes, there's been, and Coop will attest to this, there's been trade shows in New Orleans before, but not for several years. I mean, Coop, when's the last time there was a trade show there?
2015.
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking at that point,
and
almost 10 years.
It was a bad show. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? However, this is the first time it's going to be in New Orleans under the Scott Pierce regime.
Yeah.
So I have confidence in the leadership and the board. I have a lot more confidence in the people running this organization now. Well, don't get me wrong. I think they made a mistake going to New Orleans. However, that being said, I have confidence that this team can pull it off. That's in our leadership of PCA. So that's the plus right now.
Oh, gee. Alan Rubin has graced us with his presence. You know what?
Please no.
You know what? I'm in a mood today. We'll see where this goes.
You are in a mood today, but you know what though? I can kind of see the mood starting to lighten up as the thing goes.
Yeah, you want to put me in a bad mood.
So let me take a minute.
Wait, are we going to start talking about Gabe Kapler now?
We're not talking about Gabe.
No. We're not going to do that because I don't want to get Coop fired up because I can't have two of us fired up tonight. Only one of us can be fired up at a time. So, first of all, let's talk about what we always like to talk about on this show, and that is what we're using to cut and light our cigars. And as always, ST Dupont comes in to save the day. That's right. Nothing but the best. You want to talk about cutters and lighters. You want to talk about Rolls-Royce, Bentley. You talk about ST Dupont. I mean, it's the Louis Vuitton of cutters and lighters. I mean, made in France. You know what I'm talking about? I like to use, and Coop likes to use, the Defi Extreme. 2-jet lighter, beautiful, giant view fuel. Sorry, I stumbled on that one. The fuel view window, I guess, on the side. Very easy to check the level of your fuel. Side trigger right here. Nice, hard, solid click. You really feel that ignition. I mean, it's a very solid lighter. You know what I mean? It's got some weight to it. It feels good in the hand. It has a nice solid ignition, real nice hard click. This is the petrol matte blue. That's what it's called, petrol blue. It's a matte blue finish, which is exclusive to the United States. This lighter was released this year in this finish. Coop is using the white. I don't know the exact name of that white. It might be an Arctic white.
Beautiful white though.
But a beautiful lighter. I mean, just absolutely some of the best. I mean, all the cutters and lighters that I have have several brands. I'll be honest with you. Especially being in the media, you're always trying new stuff. But the ones that I carry with me, the ones that I rely on every day, are made by ST Dupont. And at ST Dupont, be exceptional. One of the things, now having said that, I also, like I said, I and Coop and Kevin obviously do this too. But, I'm always trying new products because things come out, things are released, I'll be honest with you, yes, people send me stuff. It just happens. I don't always ask for it. In fact, I don't really ever ask for it.
Don't apologize for it, Matt. It's
no.
You
gotta satisfy the peanut gallery. All those people out there.
Don't do it. It's come on. This is 2023. I can't believe we have this discussion. It explains why we get stuff.
But anyway, I have a new product with me, and I wanted to talk about it tonight because it is in the process of being reviewed. And it's very interesting. There's a likes and dislikes that I have about it, and I'm gonna try to save a lot of that for the review because I want you to go read the review. But I'm gonna introduce this on the show. So there's a brand out there that makes some things that are truly unique, and you've probably seen the name. You probably don't know how to pronounce the name. I didn't until I spent some time with them at the booth, and I was like, how do you pronounce this? Because I don't speak French, and but it's pronounced La Filam, and you've probably noticed them from their knife cutters. If you've seen the little like chopping knife that people use to cut their cigars, which are kind of cool. We've reviewed that. That's on SmokeTobacco.com. I think we've talked about.
I cut the tip of my finger off with one of those.
Yep. So they had a prototype at PCA, and I asked questions about it. I was told this is a prototype. We're working on it. It's not really officially released, so I can show it to you, but they didn't really want to talk about it. And I said, okay, that's fine. They're when we're ready to talk about it and release it, we will get in touch with you. And I said, all right. So they had contacted me and said, hey, we're releasing this new product, and we'd like to send it to you, to check out and review. And I said, absolutely, no problem. So it finally came in all the way from France, and it's very interesting. It is what they call the Lay Tag 135, I think the number is. And what it is a dog tag, like an actual, a wearable dog tag, you can see with the ball chain. And
hold it up a little bit more, Matt.
Sorry, I was trying to untangle the chain.
There you go.
So there it is. I don't want to go too close and unfocus my camera because that's a bitch to do. So there it is. Now, and what it is it's a dog tag cutter. So the bottom part slides open, and you got yourself a nice single guillotine cutter. Now, I know you guys are probably watching this on a phone or on your computer, maybe some of you on the TV, but the video is hard to do something justice, right? So what I noticed about this first is the opening, or sometimes referred to as the aperture, of the opening of the cutter. When you look at this right off the bat, you'll notice this is very large. This is easily a 70 ring gauge cutter. I have, all right, so I have a Dupont one here, and this is probably I don't know, a 54, if I can get it to open, right? It's a smaller size, but it's an average size. And then I have with me a Zycar XO, and I believe this is a 60 ring cutter. So I'll try to hold them up all together. It's fairly large for what it is. And kind of I'll have all three of those there together, kind of all lined up, so you can kind of make that out. This is substantially large. I mean, you could easily cut a 70 or 80 with this, and no problem.
So as our friend Matt Booth would say, that cutter has a lot of girth.
No, this cutter has a lot of gape. It has a lot of gape.
A lot of gape.
It's gape. The opening, it's gape. If it's the cigar, it's girth. This has the gape for a lot of girth.
That
Now,
actually looks really cool, Matt.
it is. Here's the thing. As a wearable item, I'm a big jewelry guy. I like different kinds of jewelry. Chuck, that's a great question. Let me circle back to that momentarily. Um, it's I like it. I like the idea of it. I just feel like the dog tag is a little too big. And I asked them about this, and I was told, I don't know if officially or unofficially, but I was told that there will be a smaller version of this coming out in 2024. So I was kind of excited because I'm like, all right, I love the idea, but I don't know if I like how big this one is. So for now, we're going to work with this one. We'll visit maybe another size later. But it is interesting. Now, I actually haven't cut with it yet. I'll be honest with you. This has just been sitting on my desk. And I haven't really played with it yet. So now that I've had some time, I might light my next cigar with this. And we'll get a live reading on what this is. But it's fairly interesting, I have to say. I do know that it is all stainless. At least all of the dog tag part. Actually, no, I think all of it is. But the dog tag part specifically is a culinary grade stainless steel, which is the same stainless steel that is used on their Le Petit, which is the knife cutter that they manufacture. The blade on that knife is a culinary grade stainless steel, and it's the same stainless steel that they've used in the dog tag for not only the blade, but the frame part of it too. So high quality materials. For those who have maybe seen my review on some of their other reviews on their other products, you kind of know where they've lied so far. But this is a new product, and we're gonna give it a fair shake. I don't know how it cuts, but it's a cool little product. And these, I believe, will be shipping out next week. I think they'll be available to the public. So stay tuned
Might
for.
have to try one of the. Just might have to try one of those out. That actually looks pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. And I wore it around for a little bit. It is a little big, but I'm also a bigger guy. I could probably get away with it. If you're a smaller framed, individual, especially like a lot of females or some men, it might seem very gigantic on you. So again, that's really my only so far without actually functionally testing it. That's like the surface thing that I'm like, it just seems kind of big. But if that's your thing, or if you're a big enough person and it just kind of sits well on you, hey, maybe it's an invalid concern. So yeah, I mean it's cool. The thing I like about it, because I try to be fair. It's different. It's an out of the box idea. Like, hey, here's like a cutter that you can wear, and it seems to be kind of the theme with them. They also have the punch cutter bracelets that you've probably seen. They look like these, like the beads, and then there's a metal cylinder that opens and there's a punch inside. So their thing seems to be like wearable cigar accessories, which is interesting. It's different. It's different than regular cutters and lighters, and so I give them props for the concept.
I've seen some of their stuff. I haven't covered them as extensively, I think, as you have. They definitely seem like they're targeting a younger demographic, which is not a bad thing.
100%,
with
yeah.
The bracelet and the and this especially, I think they're going after the younger demographic. The cigar knife, a lot of people. I didn't care for it, okay, but I'll put that more on me than the product, because a lot of people do like that product. I'm very much with the double guillotine stuck in my ways, but a lot of people have said a lot of good things about that cigar knife.
Yeah, I mean it.
It definitely cuts clean as long as you keep your finger out of the way. When
yeah, I'm sure, right?
But I mean, it's literally like a hot knife through butter through the cigar. But you have to, I know we've discussed it on the show previously. The blade is contoured, so you have to make sure you cut it the right way to make sure that it doesn't hurt your cigar. Those things are, it is such a slick cut.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very well made. Like the material, the thing I've noticed about them so far, and I'll be very honest, I don't hide. You can read the review on the knife cutter. They use very good materials. I will give them that. They use very good materials. You can tell by the way it feels, by the way it performs. The blades are insanely sharp. Especially when you're using it as a cutter or as a knife, because you can open it up and just use it as a knife. I've used that to cut a lot of things, and I mean it. A sharp knife from a dull knife or a lower quality knife to that thing just like butter through almost everything. I mean, cardboard boxes. We get so many packages, then you gotta open them up. It just goes right through. No, like just
And it's
no
like
no
it's
resistance.
literally it cuts a cigar like if you were cutting it with a scalpel. I mean, it's that clean and that quick. Just
Oh yeah.
done.
My only concern, like major critique with them and their products, and it's pretty much universal. They use great quality products. They got great ideas. I feel like the assembly lacks because the one thing I noticed about like the knife is like the blade gets loose very easily, and I'm constantly trying to like tighten it. And on the punch bracelets, the only part about the punch bracelets I didn't like was they like all of them like so the first version that they came out with, they used a stretchy elastic. So like these are room 101. These are mats. I'll take them off. So these are mats. These are room 101, and they use that elastic string. So they stretch over, right? And that's what they used on theirs. But Matt has like a solid, like you'll never see it on the camera, right? Because it's clear and it's small.
But Matt's stuff is like, yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. It's
Matt's stuff
top
is
notch.
solid. They used a different version where they used two really thin elastic strings that went through every bead, and then they were knotted. And that bracelet snapped on me 2 or 3 months in. And then they gave me, I saw them at the booth, and I told them, I said, hey, I tested this out. I wore it for a while. It snapped on me. But my Room 101 ones, have stood the test of time. And they're like, oh, we're aware of this, and, we're trying to get away from that. We're coming out with a rope version that, is knotted and it slides to, tighten under the wrist. And I said, all right, and I tested that out, and that lasted 2 months, and then that snapped. So their bracelets don't seem to last very long. The structural integrity of the cord or elastic or whatever they use, depending on which version it is, does not seem to hold up. They've broken on me after a couple of months very quickly. And my Room 101s that I've been wearing these for a couple years now, and I've never had any issues.
Right.
That's the big disappointment. I love them because, like, again, I'm a jewelry guy. I'm a fashionable guy when it comes to stuff like that. I like that stuff. Like, excites me. I love the idea of like another like bead bracelet on, and there's like a cigar cutter on there. Like, I love that whole thing. But the problem is it just doesn't last. So that's disappointing. The knife is a much better product. The assembly of it is a little subpar, but the functionality and the quality of the stainless are great. So when it comes to this, I have high hopes that it's going to cut well, it's going to perform well, and it's all stainless. There's no elastic or rope that can break. So unless this ball chain that the classic military dog tag chain, I don't know why I couldn't get that out, like suddenly falls apart, which I've had cheap ones that have lasted forever. I have high hopes for this. I do. I have high hopes for this. And like I said, I wish it was a little smaller, but it sounds to me like that product is in the works, and it's different, and it's cool. I like the idea of it a lot.
Hey Matt, can you put? Let me find it again. Can you put Chuck Angiolio's comment up on the screen where he was asking what we prefer? Because I think that definitely ties right into our amazing sponsor, ST Dupont.
Yeah. So, would you prefer soft flame or 3-jet torch? This is a very good question. I think all of us should individually talk about what we like, and I'm gonna go last because I've done enough talking for right now. I think people are sick of listening to me. So I'll let Coop go first because he's been like the quietest one tonight, and then Kevin, and then I'll go. But and I'm curious to see what everyone says. But Coop, I'll let you answer this first.
I'm a jet flame guy all the way. I do not like soft flames. In fact, I had an ST Dupont soft flame and I gave it to a family member. Because I wasn't. It's a great lighter. I'm just not comfortable with the soft flame. I don't have the patience for
Where
it.
is my other
I'm a jet flame guy 100% of the way.
Pull mine out.
It's not even like I don't even. Yeah, I just don't like the soft flame. Period. Yeah.
All right, Kevin, you're up.
So for me, I mean, if I'm outside or like on the golf course or something like that, I mean, you pretty much are limited to a jet flame because that's really outside in the wind. That's really the only thing that's going to work, right? But if you're sitting inside in the convenience of a lounge, I'm a soft flame guy. I mean, I absolutely I love the nostalgia, I guess, of lighting it with the soft flame. But recently, with using this Megajet, I've really come to love the flat flame. I know when we had it on the show, you know, when they first sent us these lighters and we had it on the show, Cardito
Love that flat flame.
point,
Yeah, I love a flat
pointed
flame.
out pointed out that it is probably the closest thing in the lighter world to a match. So it's like, okay, I got to check this out. So I grabbed one of the cedar matches and lit it and looked at it, and just it gets that nice wide flame and everything. And then I got this and lit it, and it's like, wow, it really does light like a match. So the more I use this, the more I like it. You know, so it's like I'm kind of a mix. I mean, like I love this line too. I mean, you know, the ping and just it's literally like a piece of art. You know, so I mean, this is close to my heart. But I mean, I love a soft flame. It's just the simplest way to light a cigar. It's always reliable and always works.
But you know, you said, Kevin, that flat flame, that flat jet kind of is a compromise for me. You know, because I love those flat flames a lot.
Well, to be fair, Chuck had asked, what do you soft flame or 3-jet torch? So, and kind of keeping
torch for me.
In keeping with what he asked specifically, I'm a little bit more like Kevin. I really enjoy the soft flame. I like the slow roast when I light a cigar. I mostly exclusively use that though when I'm really just sitting down to relax and enjoy the cigar. There's a lot of times when I smoke a cigar, it's not really for enjoyment, and I'm out and about or on the show or whatever, and I just want to get my cigar lit and move on so I can get on to what I'm doing. And so yes, the jet lighter obviously is faster, and like Kevin pointed out, if you are outside and it is in a very windy area, I remember a year ago this week,
you don't have a choice.
A year ago this week, I was down in the Dominican, and I remember being on the beach and trying to light my cigars with the breeze, and I only had a soft flame lighter on me, and it was a bitch, and I hated it in that setting because I just couldn't get my fucking cigar lit. So that is definitely a drawback. But when I'm inside and I'm sitting down and I'm enjoying, I like to slow toast my cigar on a soft flame. I personally like it better. I think the cigar has just a different experience when I do it that way. Maybe it's just me. I've always liked it. But I do like the torches as well. When it comes to torches, I've got singles, I got the flat, I got twins, I got triples, quads, and 5-jets. I will say, and this has nothing to do with the fact that they advertise, but that Defi Extreme with the twin jets, I always liked the 3 and the 4 jets. I always like when I first started smoking, I always had 3 and 4 jet lighters that were just balls to the wall. I always thought they were badass. As I got more experienced, I realized I didn't need a 4-jet lighter to light a Lancero because that was overkill. And so I adapted. But what I will say is this particular Defi Extreme with the twin jets, and they're angled out. They're not just straight up; they're angled together. So you got the two jets, but they come together in the middle. And I find that even just those two jets, they're great for a real thin like Lancero or a Lonsdale, but because they have a little bit more power behind that single point, they're also great to like a 52, 54.
I got my 60 with it tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked great.
It does. It's not like it's
the flame on that thing is outstanding.
Yeah.
This glider, the second I got my hands on it, I fell in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this is one of the greatest lighters I've ever had. This Defi jet. I mean, it's by the way, it's affordable. I mean, I know Dupont is maybe not affordable to every. Compared to some of the other Dupont stuff, that's an affordable Dupont, I would say.
I mean, I want to say. So I also like in front of. I have a lot of things here. So like this is the Maxi. This is the classic Maxi jet, the single torch lighter that you've probably seen. I believe in basic finishes, nothing like limited edition. I believe this lighter retails for like around $200, which again I know is for a lighter is steep. But you also have to consider what you're buying. You're buying something.
You're gonna have this. You're gonna have this lighter for 5 or 10 years. I mean, you're gonna have this a long time. This lighter. More, right?
Buy,
I mean,
buy once, cry once.
Look, you nothing against it. There's a market for the inexpensive lighters, but they're gonna be. You're not gonna have them very long.
I'm actually gonna bleed and fill this.
But
right now.
Matt, I gotta just say, the one thing I really like about this, you kind of the way the performance of this thing is unbelievable. When you that click, it doesn't have the ping, but it has that click.
It's a real solid click. Like when you ignite, it has a nice solid ignition.
I know it's like, when I hear that click, I know I'm getting fuel on it.
Well, and every time it clicks, it lights. And that's the beauty, at least for me, with the SD Dupont stuff. I have a couple, older line ones, limited edition. I can't get to them right now, but I mean, they're 15 years old, and they work as if, the day they were brand new. That's one of the beauties with Dupont stuff is it lasts, it works. And, I mean, if it's a collectible lighter or if it's a family heirloom or whatnot, you can send it to DuPont and they will rework it and make it like new.
And they'll clean it up.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
they will.
Yeah,
they'll
so, I mean,
it.
it'll literally, I mean, it's an investment literally that can last forever.
No, they're great. I mean, they're great products. And, they stand by the products. I can tell you that. They're distributed out of Charlotte. Coles of London, who's their distributor, is based in Charlotte. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they really do. And, and again, I know they advertise, but one of the things I will tell you is we don't just collect the paychecks here. I mean, I like to, when I try to work with someone, I like to work with people who have a company who I really believe in as well. Because, I like to do business with good people, and I really do believe in the products at SD Dupont. I mean, they stood the test of time for me. They're reliable. Yeah, I mean, I know that they're not the most affordable products, but you get what you pay for. I mean, you make that investment, you'll have it forever. I have a
100%.
line 2. I have a line 2 with me. Yeah. I love this lighter.
Same here.
It's great. And then of course the only one I don't have. I have all of them except for the Legrand. And what's interesting about the Legrand is it's a soft flame, but also on the roller where you strike the flint, if you push up on it on the Legrand, it becomes a single torch. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1. And that's a very interesting lighter as well, and very useful because it has, you can carry one lighter and you have your soft flame, and if you can't, you're in a windy area or you just want to use a torch, you can just make one hand motion and now you have a torch lighter too. So that's another thing that's very interesting.
And even their single flames, I mean, it's a hot single flame. I mean, it's a good flame. So, I mean, you can light a sizable cigar even with a single flame torch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a single jet torch, I should say.
Yep, that's like I said, that's continuing with the Defi. Is the 60? I was able to light this with no problem. Um, it's precise, so if you want to touch up, you can get a nice touch up with it as well.
I mean, it's one of the, it's ST Dupont guys. I mean, it's one of those things that, again, like Matt said, they're a sponsor of the show, but I mean, I went out and bought, or I should say, my wife went out and got me this beautiful line two, way, well before ST Dupont ever came on board. I mean, it's definitely a product that I mean, if you can afford to get it, and you won't be sorry.
So Chuck, I hope that we answered that thoroughly enough for you.
Yep.
I wanted to make sure we gave all the information we could on that question, and we appreciate.
Great question.
Yeah,
good question. Yeah.
Question.
It is. It's a good one. It's a good one, and I encourage people, whoever, you guys ever have questions, please don't be shy. Ask these questions because, this show I definitely not every show we monitor every comment, but on this show I do because we tend to get a lot of great stuff in the comments during the show. Like Coop, I know you, and this isn't a knock, but I know like during your shows you guys really don't play into the comments a lot, but I feel like on this show it works really well.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, we actually do a little bit of a different format, and that's the only reason. So that's why we have different shows, so we can do different types of things.
right.
Yeah.
So I encourage people, whoever have questions, please keep them coming. We'll keep this train rolling.
Yep. Yep.
We'll keep it rolling all night.
Yeah.
So that's all right. So he actually responded back. This is interesting. So he said, "Thank you for responding. I'm a triple jet guy due to the variety of sticks I
I
smoke."
like Chuck. Good man. Good man, Chuck.
And that's a that's a very respectable answer. Yeah.
I'm on the team Triple Jet team with Chuck on this one. But I think that's why we have all then again, that's why there's not every accessories for everybody.
True.
Is what I just say too. So,
to Alan's credit, you gotta throw the bone when it's earned. He did say, "Whatever floats your boat." And to be honest with you,
we gave him his one comment for the night. Okay.
But you know what?
Well,
but
I mean, he said
right.
he likes to light with cedar sprays.
Alan likes to use toilet paper or fireplace kindling to light his numerous Altadas cigars that he likes to smoke, and that's fine. That's what he likes to use. So if it works for him, great. I prefer a more conventional accessory, but
I mean, hey, who here has lit a cigar off the burner off of a gas stove?
I did it. I've done it.
I haven't, just because I haven't had the opportunity to be around one and want to do that. But I mean, I know like back in the day, people used to light their cigarettes that way, right?
Yeah. I've done it.
Yeah, no, we don't have gas in our house, so I've never had the opportunity to do so. But I would if I had to.
Yeah.
Why not?
About 3 or 4 years ago, and I think there's a Facebook video on this I have. We replaced everything in the kitchen, like all new appliances, and we had a new ventilation system. And my wife's like, "Let's test out this ventilation system." She goes, "I want you to smoke a cigar in the kitchen and see if it worked." So I know there's a video somewhere on my Facebook page where I did that. We smoked the cigar, test out the ventilation system.
Now, how well was the ventilation system?
Really good. It was new, yeah.
Do you smoke in the
There
kitchen?
you go.
No, I don't. I don't smoke. Look, I have a very nice area in my house I can smoke. So, look, I have antique. Look, I joke around about the parlor. I'm not putting smoke on the parlor furniture. It's just not happening. I'm not gonna.
Parlor.
I would damage it with ashes. Yeah. The parlor. That's the secret room in my house.
Yeah, don't show your age too much, Goop. Does anyone call
I have
it
this.
a parlor anymore?
The parlor.
Somehow I pictured Coop with like a monocle, white gloves, and
I'm down in the parlor, Lisa.
When you walk into my house, on the right side there's a humidor of cigars. That's for guests. And then on the left side is the parlor, and then you can then my office is to the right of the humidor, and then So I mean, it's all set up. That for
walk into our house. Sorry, Coop.
No, that's okay. You're good.
This is it. When you walk into our house, I have a tower, like right when you walk in the door, but it's just out of necessity, is that I didn't have any other place to put it, so it's sitting right inside the front door.
Yeah.
I used a map
By the way,
torch one time.
You used a what?
I used a map torch.
mapped.
Like map gas, like for like plumbing,
Mm-hmm.
for sweating.
Yeah,
drink.
I know.
Yeah, I've used that. That
Yeah.
was cool.
By the way, someone
Hey,
just made the
it's
comment
clean
about that
flame.
lunatic. Someone made the comment about the lunatic. You may see a review on that this week on Coop.
Gas stove
Of the
burning
10 by
essay
100.
for the new lunatic. You could.
I
You need a-
haven't.
you
I
need a-
haven't
you need a-
smoked mine yet.
You need a map torch for that one too.
Well, that's being smoked. The plan is, if all goes well, that's being smoked tomorrow. It's being bumped up in the review order because I got to get it out of my humidor.
You
I'm
need a
only smoking one for this
flamethrower
review.
that.
I have two of them, but I'm only smoking one for this review because it's a freaking commitment for that,
Yeah,
and if I can't
I've got one
if I
too.
can't figure it out on one, then that cigar, yeah, you can't figure it out. Period.
Oh. Nicole's quick with the comment. Hashtag teaser free.
It's not teaser free. I'm telling you what's happening. I'm smoking tomorrow and it's coming out cool. I just don't know if I can finish it.
Terrence
there's no
Riley
teaser.
himself said that
There's no
cigar
teaser.
takes
I'm
6
telling you
hours
it
to
is.
smoke.
I'm just telling you, whether I get the review done by Monday or Tuesday is going to be the question. But the plan is it's being smoked tomorrow. There's no teaser.
So
Alan
basically,
said
Coop is saying he's going to smoke one cigar tomorrow.
that's all he needs to. Are you kidding me? At 100 ring? Fuck that. I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's,
I
that's,
mean, how
I'd
did
be
the-
done for the day too.
How many Toros does that equate to? If you actually really think about it, so it's 10 by 100, right?
Yep.
So you figure
I
a, Toro,
wanna
a
say-
typical Toro is what, 6 by 52?
Yeah, but it's not twice. I want to say it's like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, so
Like
it's
if
got to
you
be
wait-
equivalent to like 4 cigars, right?
Alan said you need a tiki torch to light the new lunatic, and this is where Alan is wrong, because you don't want to light any cigar with a tiki torch, because most tiki torches are fueled by tiki oil fuel, and
Yeah.
that is not something you want to light a cigar with.
You just
And-
need
No.
like one of those personal flamethrowers that they have for self-defense.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
well,
yeah, you want to be careful. You want to be careful with anything with oil. Yeah.
And I know Alan's probably joking. Before he's like, I'm just cutting, but
You gave him 2 comments now. It is.
I gave him a good one, but now I'm picking apart the other one. So this isn't
He can we put him in the corner and just go on?
Yeah, Alan, you know what? You've been blacklisted. I'm sorry. Coop overrules when it comes to you. I'm sorry. Never
I've
knew
got
there
one of
was
those
fluid
gimmicky
oil in a tiki
lightsaber
torch. Yeah, that's how they
lighters.
work.
Go.
I've got one of those gimmicky lightsaber lighters that puts like a 18-inch flame out, so maybe that'd be good to light that thing with.
You know what I would love to see someone like light a cigar with? And it would probably just destroy the cigar, but I'm curious if anyone could actually make it work like well enough. And you know what? And I'm sure someone's done it. And you know who's probably done it is Kevin Shahan. I'll bet you Kevin Shahan's done it. Is an acetylene torch.
Well,
That
you
guy,
actually
I
might
can
need
say-
that for that 10 by 100.
And I bet you Kevin Shahan is definitely the kind of guy who's probably done it. I know it. If anyone's done it, it's him. And I'm curious to know how well it happened.
Don't give him any. Don't give him. Oh, you just gave him a good idea.
Yeah. No, I want to know though. I don't have one, but I know. I'm pretty sure he does. Isn't he like? What does he do? He's a mechanic, right? Isn't that what he does? He works in a shop. I know he's a blue collar
think
guy
so.
like myself, but
He's mechanic, and he's mechanically inclined. I can tell you because
Yeah.
obviously the cigar prop is something.
so he's the kind of guy who probably has access to that and would probably be like, I'll do it.
If he hasn't done it, he's gonna now.
Oh yeah. So Kevin, I'm calling you out in a good way. I want to see a video. I want to see.
That 10 by 100 would be a good cigar to use that on too.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't use like a small cigar because it's just too much. But like 10 by 100, that's probably beefy enough to take
Or even
some
one of
that.
those,
Yeah.
even like the acetylene cutting torch, where you got the little lever to get the extra boost to get the flame super hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I did the 9x90 last week. In fact, I just finished the 9x90 smoke when you called me for that help. I had finished about an hour before, and it was a 4-hour and 22-minute commitment. So this
Wow.
10 by 100 is going to be a lot longer. I can tell you that.
It's gonna be like half the day.
Yeah, it's
The
gonna.
largest
Yeah.
I've the largest I ever smoked, I smoked that the Asylum Big Time Tommy. That was 770.
That's the
So
biggest
far,
cigar you've ever smoked?
that's the biggest. That's the largest ring I've ever smoked.
You've
So
never,
You
you've
guys.
I've
never
got
got.
I've got the 10100 as well. So I'm looking forward to
I
doing
I
that. It's
have
like
I
I
have
think
an extra.
Coop might
I
have
have an ex.
pushed our review
Yeah,
forward.
I have an extra one in case I ever decide to smoke it on a show or something. Like I got an ex. I got two of them. Plus, if something goes wrong with the first review, like my fear with this review tomorrow, right? Like what's smoking this tomorrow is that if I get something happens at the house that's gonna call my attention away from the cigar, that cigar will sit for a little while and it's gonna just invalidate the whole review. I'm
Hmm.
afraid of that happening, so that's why I always buy an extra.
That's
But
where you just got to
yeah,
put a sign on your door that says "I'm busy." F off.
Sunday's a good day. Sunday's the day. That's why Sunday's the day. I was gonna do it yesterday, but a little distracted. We had we had a couple of my kids in town and stuff, so that wasn't the day to do it. I saw Joe Grow yesterday. Actually, he was in town. So
Joe Grow was in your neck of the woods?
yeah, Joe. Yeah, we met over at Casa de Monte Cristo. And he's got some family in Charlotte, so we met for a smoke. We smoked the new porchetta yesterday. Yep, hung out with Joe.
Joe's a stud. That's all I gotta
Good man.
say.
Yeah, I know Joe a
Yeah,
long
we
time.
love Joe Grow.
You
Stud.
love Joe. Yeah.
Dude's a stud.
Yeah.
I love Joe Grow. I don't keep a list of like my favorite people because I don't believe in that. But if you had to ask me like who like the five, Joe Grow's on that list. I mean, Joe Grow is just man. I mean, he's real. He's always like real calm. He's real cool. Like he doesn't.
Yeah.
But he knows his shit and he's on top of it and he gets things done. And he's just a great guy to be around. I mean, I can't say I've worked with him professionally. I know him personally, and he's a great guy.
Really, really good guy,
Definitely
good friend. Yeah, and I think he's in a really good position. He's kind of taken steps with each of his career. And, this is a really good fit for him at Casa de Monte Cristo. I think you're gonna see some good things out of him.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little excited when I saw him talking about porchetta. It kind of like reflecting on the DE days. I was like, oh, look, Joe Grow's talking about Drew Estate again. It feels like old times.
No, but he'll tell you that project was long in the works before he got there.
Yeah.
That wasn't a Joe Grow project. It was already in the works. He just got to execute it. Yeah.
That's a great cherry on top is that he was the one that kind of really gets to go after now. That's really cool. What was I gonna say? Nicole had something. She had a beef with PCA, but I'll be honest
What?
with you.
Oh no.
Oh no, yeah. But
we got to get this beef.
I know, but
I can see the look of shock on Coop's face.
But I don't.
Nicole's got a beef. It's a legitimate beef. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, she don't fuck around. So, but I apologize because I didn't prepare more to discuss it. So I'm hoping that
She's out there. She's in the comments. She wants a message. Have her message you. Yeah.
Maybe she will. If she she has a beef with Resorts World. That's what it is. Oops, excuse me. That burp snuck out of there.
What's the beef with Resorts World?
And I believe it had something to do with the room blocks for PCA. I think it was something along the lines of, and she'll have to correct me, that Resorts World, I think they changed their pricing, like their general pricing, like during the dates of the 2024 PCA trade show, to be much higher than like if you were to just book on your own versus I think the room blocks if you were to do it through the PCA. And I believe what she was getting at was like she was looking at them before, and PCA was like taking forever to release their room blocks and information, which actually I don't even know if they still did. I don't know. I don't have enough information. I don't
Nicole's comment. She says I've been following the pricing. They inflated their pricing when the block went live. I mean that kind of tracks with how hotels in this town do stuff.
So
That's
the PCA
unfortunate.
discount price is the regular price, and and they yeah, that's what it was. So that I knew she had some kind of beef, but
Well, a lot of those places have
Oh,
local
I was gonna
rates,
ask
and
why resorts. I was gonna ask why Resorts World, but that's the host hotel now. I was like, why?
yes,
Why? Yeah, I forgot about that's the host hotel now, even though it's nowhere near the convention center.
well, a lot of those places,
well, it's
you know,
not too
they
far.
have locals rates, and during that event, there's no locals rates available either.
Why?
Okay, yeah,
I
that
assume you looked.
Maybe.
Yeah, we yeah, Kevin and Barbara do have the luxury if they just get to go home. I mean, if they wanted to stay in a hotel just so they didn't have to go all the way back, they could. But I mean, you
Well, you
got
know, you and Nicole are always welcome here too. If you want to stay at, Casa de Acuff versus Resorts World, then you can ride with us every morning to the show.
that's true. This is also true. We can
Our
stop in.
prices are good. Bring booze.
I can smoke in the car, which I like because they
You can
smoke
smoke in the house.
can smoke in the house. Kevin and Barbara, they are my transportation when I am in Las Vegas, and it's great. I have my own concierge service, and I look forward to
Are you
it.
submitting mileage reports, Kevin? I mean, get the mileage reports from that, man.
I have to say I appreciate them a lot, and I feel bad because
Look,
our flight into TPE many people probably know the story, but our flight into TPE was it almost turned into a 6-hour desert road trip from Phoenix, and I was texting Kevin and
you were
Coop
ready. You were ready to
on the
rent the
plane.
car.
I
remember you were ready to
was!
rent the
It
car.
turned into a 6-hour flight from Phoenix, but you know what? We sat there and waited. We actually sat in the car. We actually brought our cigars and we sat in the cell phone lot and just
Yeah.
waited.
And I know,
And
and I told
waited.
Kevin, I'm like, Kevin,
Okay.
don't worry about I'm going to get into it. He's like, no, we're here. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? They sat and waited
Yeah.
for me and Nicole.
And we're like, oh, we had them on Flight Aware, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
there they are.
Yeah, but Kevin, could you picture that drive that Matt was going to do in the middle of the night from Phoenix to Vegas? Like I've
No.
done the drive. I've done that
So
drive.
have I. I've
when
done
you,
it many
when
times.
you go through Kingman, and all. There's like, trust me, you don't want to be stuck anywhere or hit anything in the middle of the night because it's dark.
Once you get through Wiki up on Chris, what is
Yep.
it? The 93. It's like it's desolate until you hit
Yeah.
Kingman.
Kingman, and then from Kingman to the Nevada border pretty much is dead. So
Yeah,
it's a-
I mean that's
it's
an
a
hour and a
straight road.
half. So
that's the straightest road I ever saw too. Like that road from Kingman that goes north to the Nevada border. It is like just straight as an arrow.
I was ready to do it, and then we were sitting
I
on the
remember you
ground
were
in
ready.
Phoenix, and they're like, "We're gonna head back to Las Vegas. The airport's open." I'm like, "No, oh, never mind. Stand by."
Yep.
And Kevin, I'm sitting on the ground in Phoenix at Sky Harbor, and Kevin and Barbara are still at McCarran Airport at the cell phone lot. Like, well, let's see what happens. I'm like, I'm not even like, I don't even know if I'm going back to Nevada right now. And they waited. I got to give it to them, and I'm like, hey, we're in the air. And
Well, we
Kevin's
weren't
like,
gonna go nowhere.
right
I
on.
mean, we're
And
20
I would-
minutes from the airport, so it's like, I mean, we have a car to sit in. It's comfortable.
Yeah, but it was
Wasn't
late.
So what are we gonna do? We're gonna sit here and smoke, yeah, but what are we gonna do? Sit here and smoke, and then drive and go get you, or are we gonna sit in the cell phone lot and wait for you and smoke?
Well, or you could have gone
mean,
home
it's
and
not-
gone to
not a
bed. I
difference,
mean, it was
'cause-
after midnight when I got there.
So what?
Yep.
It's like we said we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you. It doesn't fucking matter.
We had a trade show to attend to the next day. I mean, I'd rather you just go home and get this
Yeah,
sleep.
but we had to pick you up.
I mean, just to let the record show, I appreciate it so much, but you didn't have to do that. But I appreciate it. You guys are just such good souls. But anyway, that's like I said, I have a very strong personal car.
Well,
service.
we will tell everybody out here in smoking tobacco land. I mean, Barb and I consider Matt and Nicole, they're like our adopted kids.
It's true.
They're like the kid. I mean, they are family to us. They're as much family
Yeah,
as
they're
our
people.
biological kids. So
It's
They're
very
good
true.
kid.
we
people,
love
yep.
you guys, and we'll do whatever we can
Absolutely.
do to make your life easier.
And Coop's like my grandfather. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
sorry. I couldn't help it. It was right
Hey,
there.
Coop and I are
It
almost
was
the
right
same
there.
age, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It was right there. I couldn't do it. You know, I couldn't pass
And if
up.
you start talking about this age stuff, Barb's gonna kick your ass. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys keep bringing it up. I'm trying to stay away from it. I don't want to
Hey,
get
you're
her
the
going.
one who said grandfather.
Yeah, but you know, you were talking about being the old man who was supposed to be angry at the beginning of the show, and like you know.
I don't know at my rate. I don't know if I'll ever be a grandfather with the way things are going. Right. So even though one of my daughter's my best hope. They're the one married, but my
Coop.
boys are nowhere near.
You may
So
not
I'll
have
take you, okay?
grandchildren. You may not have grandchildren, but you are a grandfather. And you know why? Because anytime someone mentions Gabe Kapler, you're the old man yelling at the cloud from The Simpsons.
I got Gabe Cap. Okay,
that's
now
what you
brought
are.
it up,
You're
I
the
got
old man.
You got the
Oh,
Gabe
Gabe!
Kapler.
Okay, now that you brought it up, I'm gonna say this: Gabe Kaplan. Did you hear what Gabe Kaplan's doing now?
No, because I don't care. Like,
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
No, you
but I didn't
are.
ask if you care or not. But he is doing hamburger place reviews right now.
Are you
Hamburger
serious?
place reviews.
No, wait.
I am
are you,
not kidding. Yeah, go on his Instagram page. He is reviewing
What?
hamburger places.
Hamburger.
I mean, he's got a lot of time on his hands. He's not good at that either, by the way. This is the guy
He's
who
not
was like
good at
telling them
that
when he was at the Phillies. This is the guy who was at the Phillies. He wanted us to eat vegan. Like he wanted the Phillies to eat vegan, and he takes his skin off the chicken McNuggets, and now he's reviewing.
I forgot. I forgot. This makes a lot of sense. Like because what does Coop do when he goes on his road trips? He stops at Whataburger and he's like, "This is William Cooper. I'm at Whataburger today, and I'm gonna try this burger." And like does his little like curbside review. What is you know, I'm at In-N-Out Burger today, and blah 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 blah. And that so
I don't
Coop-
think I've reviewed it. I just kind of do the I'm here.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
haven't done a
we're
food
getting a
review
lot.
yet.
Yeah, but
we're gonna
Coop,
have
you're-
a Whataburger here.
Coop, you're a reviewer by nature, though. So, and I know
I
how you
am.
feel about your
I am,
burgers.
but-
So when your arch nemesis is reviewing burgers, you're like, "Oh, this
He's an
is
idiot,
my
yeah.
fucking game, dude." Like, that's
Yeah,
Coop's mentality.
Well, if the guy wasn't so much take the skin off the chicken McNuggets and recommending people to eat, and look, I'm not against vegan, by the way. If someone's eat vegan, as long as they
Raul
don't
Ramos
oppose it.
is a grandfather? Holy shit.
Raul Ramos looks fantastic for a grandma. Let me tell you, he's a. It was great hanging out with Raul, by the way. It was on a Palooza. Yeah, just awesome guy. Hey, and Raul, I got to say, I want to give Raul and Matt credit. They did a great interview with Jeremiah Mirafel on Monday. Just great job by those guys. So, hats off.
What is it with the How About That Cigar guys? Like, they're, you know. I like if you ask me, I'd be like, you got a couple of mid-30-year-old guys over there. They're awesome, and these fucking guys are
They're like, yeah, they're in their 50s. Like, go
I don't
figure.
understand. Like, what water are they drinking? Like, I want some.
I
of
wish
that.
I wish I had the. It must be that Lake Minnetonka water I need up there.
I know. I know. Prince introduced us to that
Yeah,
Minnetonka.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta bless yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
So, Coop, I think we actually need to have a legitimate thing. We're gonna have Whataburger should be open here by the time PCA rolls around. So I think we actually need to have a head-to-head between Whataburger and In-N-Out, so everybody can finally see that Whataburger is the preferred burger between the two chains.
So
I eat both. I'll eat both, by the way. I don't have a problem with the either chain, but I do go Whataburger.
well, it's interesting. You know, Vegas is becoming more and more of a popular destination for a lot of different industries now. And you're seeing more and more like food places that are one-off, you know, in other areas. And now all of a sudden they have a location in Las Vegas. You know, perfect example, a place that I know Coop knows very well, Peter Luger Steakhouse, famous in New York City. They now have a location at Caesar's Palace, which is interesting. But in regards to fast food, there's a place that is known in Hawaii that now has a location in Las Vegas, and it's Zippy's. So, Kevin, have you been to Zippy's yet?
No, because there's been like a constant 2-hour wait to get food there, and I'm not waiting 2 hours for.
I'm not waiting. Yeah.
So, you guys, I don't know if there's any in Vegas, and I feel like there's plenty down in the southern area where Coop lives, but Sonic. I remember
Sonic's like I have a Sonic 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah, so we have one Sonic near us, and I remember when it opened. I was in high school. I mean, this is probably
I know where that Sonic
2010?
is. I've been to that. I've actually been at Sonic. I know what you're talking about.
Route 1 in
Because I went to a
Saugus.
Sonic event. Yep.
Yeah. Not
Years
Saugus.
ago I was there.
Is that Peabody? Linfield? Yeah, it's on Route 1 North.
Yep.
I remember when
I
that
know-
opened. You know about Kowloon, right? I know, Coop, you know about Kowloon, right?
I've never been there. It's that Chinese place, right?
The big one.
Yeah, it's
So-
a legendary. It's a legendary Chinese place in New England, apparently.
It's on that road too, but it's miles down. I remember when Sonic first opened, the traffic on Route 1 went like miles down Route 1 North, all the way like past Kowloon, going like into Saugus, almost down to the other end where it starts to turn into like Malden Riviera. And I remember like you couldn't get in there. It was a 3-hour wait just to get in there because it's the only one we have. And like now, I mean, you can go there anytime. Like the buzz has worn off. The one place
I
that
wanna
hasn't
say-
lost the buzz is Chick-fil-A, and it doesn't matter what Chick-fil-A you go to. We got plenty of those around here now.
It's
They're
it's
always
okay.
packed.
They're always packed. It's okay. I'm not a huge fan. We have better chicken places than Chick-fil-A in the South, though, is the issue. Because you start getting some of that Nashville hot chicken places.
You got
like,
Bojangles.
We have Bojangles is good, but I would rather go to there's a chain that's starting to grow down here called Dave's Hot Chicken. And
Oh,
when you go
yeah.
to Dave's Hot Chicken.
Up here too.
There's
And we
Dave's
just
Hot
got a
Chicken's-
Dave's here.
Yeah, Dave's is money. Let me tell you. Yeah, you won't go back to Chick-fil-A after. But I know Chick-fil-A has good service and everything, but Dave's is money. I'm just telling you. I when I was in Vegas, I did the Wiener Schnitzel run this year because of Jay Davis. Decent hot dog.
It is a decent hot dog. It can be a little rough on the belly. It's almost like it can hit the belly almost like a White Castle.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, is there good kosher deli in Vegas?
There's one, and I can't think of the name of it right now.
I'm done. I want to because
There's one in downtown.
When I took the Coop team at Great Smoke this year to Ben's down in Boca Raton, which is kosher deli, and I introduced them to things they never had before. So, it was a big hit.
I tell you, as far as fast food chicken in this town goes, probably one of the best fast food chicken places, like probably that I've been to ever, is Shaquille O'Neal's Big Chicken.
Shaquille O'Neal is in the chicken business?
Mm-hmm.
Near
It's on Paradise over in behind the convention center.
So
And holy shit,
not
what an amazing place.
Now, we went to a bagel place by the convention center.
Yeah,
A really good one. Yeah.
Bagel Mania. That's like the cigar industry official breakfast place.
the
Well, I thought it was Starbucks still.
for me it's Starbucks. Me and Nicole, we go to Starbucks.
Oh,
That's
it's the
what
worst coffee.
That's like
in
the
world.
worst coffee, and that's the worst coffee in the
Get the
planet.
food
See,
from there.
okay, so here's the thing. My dad loves Starbucks, okay? But my dad liked that burnt coffee. That's why he liked Starbucks.
I like
that.
the strength of that myself.
But so in New York, there's a better type of burnt coffee, is what I was just say called. It was chock full of nuts. Those places were awesome.
While we were on the topic of chicken really quick, I didn't want to miss this. There's another place. Guy Fieri has a place, a fast food place, and I went there with Carney because Carney lives in Winter Park, Florida. And right around the area of where Cigars on the Ave is, there is a Guy Fieri chicken place. And I remember last time I was down there with him, we went there and we got some of the shit there. It was all right.
That's in Caesars.
Oh, there's one at Caesars too?
Yeah, because when we were waiting for, I forget, we were doing something for PCA and we were waiting to go to dinner. Mitchell was starving, so we went there.
Oh, really?
It's in the
So-
it's
Where
in the,
was
it's
I?
in the
Wait,
food
when-
court of Caesars.
Where was I?
You and Matt were getting ready for dinner.
Oh,
You guys went to
the
clean up
Big
and
D?
change.
Yeah.
the Big D?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here's the big question, Kevin. Is the Junior's Cheesecake Steak going to be open in time for PCA? Because it's going to be at Resorts
Ooh.
World.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
bet it is.
Oh, I
'Cause
have
I
something too.
personally
I
have
have
to-
something.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have something. I have something.
That would be epic. I mean, that's like the best cheesecake in America.
It is. Like I said, Matt at least found. Thanks to Matt, I've been able to get them now from the supermarket, and
I got props.
it's still way above average. The Junior's cheesecake from the supermarket. I did have the Oreo cheesecake that Matt. I forgot to send you a picture of it, Matt. That Oreo cheesecake was really good. The one that you got. Oh, you got the mini ones. I saw those. I haven't tried those yet.
Alan Rubin Cantors is no longer in the Mirage.
Let's see. Only 140 calories per serving. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, go with the traditional. You want to go traditional New York.
They're frozen, so they might be a little firm, but I'm still gonna.
Yeah, see, you want to get them. You don't want them frozen. That's the thing. So you want them.
See, my question is how come like your co-hosts on this show weren't allocated a shipment of that?
Well, yeah. See, I would have had my junior. I had some juniors here.
Oh man, that's horrible when it's frozen. I'm gonna let this one thaw out, and then I'll get back to it later. I'll put these back.
I am actually looking up Resorts World to see if it's open yet. And I doubt it is.
We have until March, so it'll be open by March.
Yeah. And yeah, that will be good when that happens.
Yeah, Nicole pulled in right here. Pulling in on the Costco special. That's right.
Oh, thanks to Nicole, man. I am enjoying Junior's cheesecake on a regular basis now, so it was greatly appreciated.
Good old Costco.
But I will say that Oreo cheesecake was really good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it a lot.
Sounds like Barb and I are taking a trip to Costco tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
I would go, Kevin. I would go. Look, if they have the Oreo one, get it. But I always recommend if you can get the original New York one they have, not with the berries or anything. I think that's kind of like what they're known for. But I was really impressed with that Oreo cheesecake. Actually, I didn't think I would like it, and it was really good.
Yeah, cheesecake is probably Barb's favorite dessert. So
yeah, he asked the question already. That was your question. That was Vincent. Can I ask a question? That was your question, right?
Can I ask a question? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you just asked it.
You all remember the Connoisseur Club with Smoke Inn? Yes, we do.
The Connoisseur. That was. Oh yes. I had just my age was kicking in.
The cheesecake pie
okay.
has a better cheesecake to gram crust ratio. No, I read that wrong. I was like, wait, what? Their cheesecake pie has a better cheesecake to gram. This is a very interesting comment. I like this comment, and I'm going to tell you why. I like
it too.
And honestly, I've had a lot of different cheesecakes in my time. And sometimes people are stingy with the graham cracker crust. And honestly, I know it's about the cheesecake, but I mean, that graham cracker crust, I mean, that's the little, like the tickle in the balls, so to speak. That
rounds it out.
I like plenty of graham cracker. I look forward to that. Oh, here we go. I disagree.
Juniors doesn't have a huge amount.
I thought you were gonna say, the graham cracker doesn't matter. Never mind, I take that back.
No, no. Yeah. I mean, the Oreo one doesn't have it at all, right? I'm trying to remember now. Oh wow! I'm on their site. They got the red velvet stuff coming out now.
This is like the fourth fucking show in a row where, and the last couple of times I've ignored it, but like I feel like I gotta say something again because like this keeps happening, and this comment keeps coming in, and it's always different people. But like and I'm like I'm getting tired of it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh.
Like we're getting more hate because Kevin's in front of the Gurkha banner, and I'm like,
what's the problem? What people have with it? What a company they have been to support us in the industry. They're making some very good cigars. I realize they have a previous reputation of, and I think if I'd encourage. We've done interviews with Juan Lopez, you and I. I'd encourage people to go listen to those interviews because there's things that they have tried to do. Like Matt, I think we've explained it before. Like
We have.
the name was the name was licensed out, unfortunately, on some cigars that shouldn't have been licensed out on.
Yep.
So,
Juan
but
Lopez is a great individual.
Cigars International really did them dirty. I'm just gonna say that. Cigars International has just been trashed to a lot of brands.
Yeah. And look, they had their issues with Kaiser a couple years ago, and
that's a separate issue.
That's a separate issue, but let me tell you something. They stood up on it. Okay, they didn't run away from it. So, and it was unfortunate that was horrible comments that were made, and should never have been made. And they've had to work hard in the last couple of years to try to regain a lot of trust. I mean, but Juan and Bianca, tremendous people. Armando, some of the reps 100%. They have. Steve Cook, some really good reps they have there as well. So.
Well, I mean, Gurkha, as far as from any B&M owner, I mean, it's it's a B&M staple. It's one of the best sours at any B&M and anywhere.
I mean, it's just they. So I mean,
here's the thing.
They have been a good. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to step in here because I want to. Hold on. Alan said his comment was related to a Gurkha in the Connoisseur Club. I just don't think this is the forum to discuss it. Okay. It seemed to me.
I don't know what they had in the Connoisseur Club. I couldn't comment.
I thought it was again about the backdrop because. And he said, no hate, trying to ask and understand. Well, just so you know, we've gotten several comments from people. There was one guy who just started shooting his mouth off about it the other day. And it's just like, and Nicole said, explain the Gurkha situation with the license out, which Coop kind of did. Look, they've licensed the name out. People made some stuff. It was not that great. They know about it. They've stopped that. They've taken it back. Also, you hear people complain like, well, Gurkha, they don't make cigars. They're all about the packaging. Do you know how many cigar brands out there don't make cigars? They order cigars from factories, they have their packaging, and they sell it. It happens a lot more than you think. So I don't know why everyone's constantly beating the shit out of Gurkha over it because it happens with so many other people.
I mean, packaging just became an issue on a review I did this week because I criticized the packaging. And I'm telling you, companies are more critical of the packaging when I criticize that packaging than the cigars. Because that's what a lot of these companies do.
Yeah.
So they take that more personally. They can blame a factory that they're contracting with if the cigar ain't great. But when they're doing the packaging piece and they're involved with it, it's a lot of companies are doing that. You're right. That's an unfair comment. And one thing I liked about what Juan has done, Juan has really tried to develop some very good partnerships with factories over the past few years, and I think he's done a great job with that.
He really has.
He really has. Great job. So, yeah.
I forget what I was going to say after that.
Yeah.
Sorry for the yawn. It's been an exhausting week. I forget where I was going to do something else, and I fucking forget now. No, you're good. You're good. Maybe I didn't fully understand, but we've gotten a lot of comments on it, so that's why I.
Yeah, no, I didn't
wanted
realize
to
what
clear
the comment.
I
didn't. Yeah, I didn't realize what the comment was either. I actually think, from what I heard from Abe, that Gurkha cigar did very well in the Connoisseurs Club. I want to say that.
That's good.
I think a lot of people were surprised by it.
And again, I'm sorry if you were asking about something else. It's just I read it and it seemed that way, and it's been a thing here, and I'm just like, what? At the end of the day,
no, he's a good guy. Vince is a good guy.
No, I know he is. No, I know he is. I know he is.
Yeah.
Vince, no ill will. I just, I wasn't sure if that's what it was. Because I've had people write me, emails about that backdrop, and I'm like, all right, this is getting ridiculous. And they just re-signed for 2024, and I'm like, okay. I mean, and I don't normally discuss that information, but for the sake of this argument, they came to us and said, hey, we're still with you next year. We want to support you, and I appreciate that because they're good people. They spend money. Look, at the end of the day, it's a business. Coop will tell you it's a business. These advertisers, they pay us money. That's how we make money, and that's how we keep doing what we do. So it's a relationship, and we get nothing but respect for those guys. You know, so again, I want to even
Yep.
maybe not. And again, that's not directed at all you, but for all the people out there who have something to say about it, like I'm in one of those moods today. So if people got an issue, I'm gonna
Yeah.
clear the air because
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing about it. You know, they have our back, so that's
They're good. They're good
And I can
people.
I
say,
appreciate it.
I mean, I can see in the comments, Vincent. I mean, he didn't mean anything bad by it. I mean, what did he say? He said it just wasn't a normal Gurkha, so I was asking because I didn't know.
Okay, and that's fair, and I'll take some of that back. I misunderstood
It's
that.
all. Oh, he's all good. He should be good. Yeah. It
Yeah,
was an
yeah.
honest mistake. So
Yeah,
you fell on
there
your
was
sword, Matt.
no hate directed.
But
At
yeah, just so you know, Matt has been getting. We got it on the last show too. So there was there was a little history with that. So
There was,
yeah.
there
So
was.
it was confusing. Yeah.
And
Well, and I catch it off the air all the time, and it's just like I'll defend these guys.
Yeah.
My dying
I mean,
breath.
yeah.
They're support to
Yep.
us. They support the industry.
Yeah.
They're great. They're great people. So it is what
You
it
know,
is.
yeah. So they've, like I said, I've known Juan and Bianca a long time. Bianca came back to Gurkha a couple years ago, and it was one of the best things they did.
oh yeah,
Bringing her back.
yeah.
Absolutely.
She's on top of her shit.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Great.
I forget
Sit
what
down for a half hour with Juan Lopez, and you'll like the brand.
dude. You sit down with Juan Lopez, and you'll find yourself you have a new best friend. That dude is awesome. You
Yeah.
also probably can't party as hard as Juan Lopez. As much as you think you can, I can assure you, you cannot party harder than Juan Lopez.
There was Juan
He's the
can't
man.
sell tries. Juan can't sell tries.
Yeah,
I was gonna say he's in the one cancel the realm.
yeah. He's another one. He parties hard, but not as hard as Juan Lopez. He's
Thanks for the comment, Randy. My buddy Randy Bush says I look fantastic in front of the backdrop. Is it damn straight?
That red, really brings out the anger in your skin.
It brings out my youthful features.
Challenge accepted. Yeah, that's a good challenge right there. I tell you, he'll drink under the table.
No,
I love Juan. He's the man, dude.
No argument there at all.
Dude, Juan just,
Yeah, no
you got to
argument
give
there
it to him. The guy enjoys his life. You know what I mean? I'll tell you, I do enjoy it. Last year, was it last year at the trade show? Or was it this year? I think it was last year. I went into the booth and Juan was a little worn down, and so to speak. And I just remember him. I finished up my business chat with him. I was just shooting the shit with him, and he said something, and I was like, I went to, I think it was when Nicole was sick, and she went to Revive, to get another bag of IV fluid, and because I think she wasn't with me. He's like, "Where's Nicole?" And he was like, "Oh," he goes, "Wait, they have that?" And I go, "Yeah." It's like every resort has one, and he was like, "Oh, text me that name." He's like, "I gotta go get a couple of those IV bags, dude. I'm hurting." And I'm like, "Yeah, no." I'm like, "You gotta go." I told Bianca, I'm like, "Make sure he goes." And
that stuff works so good too.
Yep.
I go probably at least at this right now. I go every time I'm in town at least once, because after like 3 or 4 days of just no sleep, drinking, smoking, and hustling, you in that desert heat, you're just like, dude, I need a bag of juice. And I remember the PCA this year, the show was over. I went back to my room, I changed, and then I had a flight that night, and I went to Davidoff in Geneva, and I was sitting with the other Matt, and I was just so like, I wasn't just like tired, but I was just like, I was out of it, and I felt like trash. And I was texting Nicole, and she's like, "You gotta go to Revive," and I'm like, "Yeah." And I just remember I made the next appointment. It was like 20 minutes. I finished my cigar, and I wandered my ass over to Revive, and I sat down, and I remember I finished the bag. I got up, and I was like, "Damn." I'm like, what a difference. I felt like a whole new man. It was just like, wow, that is insane. So I highly recommend that for anyone who travels out there. It's worth it. It's like like $130? But I'm telling you, it's worth it. I was gonna ask you, gentlemen. We haven't really talked cigar industry stuff tonight. What did anybody have anything on their list of gripes? Is there any beef of the week, Coop? I have to ask you that question
No,
first.
there wasn't a gripe.
It was
I had a
something though.
little
I
bit.
can hear it.
No. It's more of an observation.
Oh, well, we
Does
know how observations go. We talked about
Yeah,
that
no,
last
but
time.
but so I'll be honest. My inbox has been blowing up with Black Friday cigar deals,
Okay.
and I gotta be honest. Not a lot of them have really been have me doing handstands. There's a couple of sites I think have had some good specials. I'm not saying they haven't. But most of them have been very underwhelming. And then you go into the brick and mortars and they hardly have anything with Black Friday. I was in Casa de Monte Cristo. I didn't see anything with Black Friday, right? I was in a local cigar shop Monday. They didn't have anything with Black Friday. And I don't know if Black Friday works in the cigar. I mean, that's my question. I don't know if the Black Friday concept works in the cigar industry unless you're really, really big and you have a large amount of inventory.
You know,
I don't think it works. Yeah, I don't think it works.
I
And
was
you
gonna
can say that about
say,
any type of product, though.
you know, it's funny you mentioned this because I have made some observations. The last two Black Fridays have been significantly, what's the right term? Like watered
Underwhelming.
down. Yeah, like compared to like I remember like and I remember 2019, 2018, 2017. Like I remember being like there was some folks and I'm like, yeah, like they got a good Black Friday. And then the last couple of years it's been like, oh, well, all
Co-
right.
COVID changed a lot of that. So I
Mhm.
think after COVID, you didn't see the midnight madness stuff anymore like happen.
Right.
That I think changed with COVID, where they stopped doing that, right? And now I don't see it as much of a ritual. Like yesterday, I when I was going up to drive up to Casa de Monte Cristo, it's about an hour drive. I had to go through a lot of retail areas. There was nothing that, and this is about like 9, 10 in the morning, which normally I'd probably see a lot of parking lots filled. No, my buddy Bob, the cigar guy, actually was doing Black Friday coverage out at the mall, and he was saying there's no sales and no crowds, and it's changed. It's changed.
A lot of things have
But
changed.
but I think with our brick and mortars, it doesn't work because they're smaller. They're smaller in terms of what they have in inventory a lot of times, and we're all about discounting is kind of like something the mom and pop brick and mortars don't really want to do. So, because I don't know, I don't know. To me, it's. I've seen a couple stores try to open early or try to do the sale, but they just can't. There's not enough to get like a mom and pop brick and mortar is not going to do 20% off. They're just not. Maybe they'll do a couple of buy four get one frees on certain cigars, but they're just not going to do that. So I am.
Well, you got to remember too. I mean,
I don't. Like I said, it's not criticism, it's more of an observation.
I mean, it's basic economics when it comes to business, right? You get a smaller store that buys a certain percentage of product at a certain rate, and then you got larger companies who buy larger amounts of inventory at a much lower rate,
Right.
and they're more able to do wider, heavier discounts on their products because their margins are different than the smaller stores. So you're right. I mean, in the grand scheme of it, the regular brick and mortar shops, they really shouldn't be, or not that they shouldn't be, but it shouldn't be a surprise to not see them doing it. The bigger stores, however, who have much larger amounts of inventory, who have probably, paid a better rate on it, that have more flexibility, sure, you're going to see them probably do it because they are able to do that and still make a good amount of money off of it, which at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Business is about making money. So
Yeah.
it does make sense.
But even some of the ones that did some of the more significant sales, okay, I could tell you, because we do a lot of tracking of pricing on Coop, right? I could tell you there's been better sales at other points of the year than the Black Friday. So if I saw someone doing 22%, I saw one person doing 22%, I know they've done 30% other times of the year.
Do you think it's because people have learned that they don't really need Black Friday to be so special because people are going to buy anyway? It's the other parts of the year when it actually is slow that they need to do those sales.
Yeah, I think so. Like, so I don't know Dave Garofalo's situation, but I know Dave does a big sale in March, right? He
I
has a
was just
big
gonna say this.
clearance sale in
He
March, right before
does.
tax
So
season,
they
right?
do a Black
But I
Friday.
didn't see Dave do a huge Black Friday deal. And I'm wondering, well, maybe down the road, people know Dave's going to have that big sale. And that big sale in March, from what I understand, is crazy. He does,
Yeah.
like, really.
So Dave's Black
Yeah,
Friday this
yeah.
year was. I was actually there yesterday. Not for Black Friday. I had some other items I had to pick up, but
Right.
I was there, and I think they did. I'm trying to remember what they did. They did. They did like some heavy discounts. They did some big
Okay, so they
discounts.
did. Okay, I
I
thought
think
it
it
was
was select
15% on
items.
the
I think it
website.
was. I think it was select items. But they
But that's
did.
okay. But
They
that's
did some
okay.
big. They did some big discount stuff. But
Yeah.
what the big thing that Dave does in March every year, it's called the March Madness sale.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember because I haven't partaken in it in a couple years because I haven't really needed to. But I used to go to that every year, and that used to be like the mark on the calendar when I loaded up on stuff.
That's what I mean.
I'd
People
spend
go in and
I
they
would spend
load up.
thousands of dollars.
Right. Right.
I would spend thousands of dollars at that sale
Right.
because it made so much sense to do so. And if I remember correctly, it's always the same, and it's usually it's a tiered system where everything's on sale.
More you buy,
but
but the more you buy, the more you'll save.
oh, certain things. So like certain things are like all the selected tobacco stuff is usually like a certain percentage, and then like there's other stuff that's maybe a little bit more, and then there's stuff that's a little bit more than that, and then there's like the stuff that they're trying to get rid of that's a heavy discount. But virtually the idea is that everything in the store is on sale. So regardless of what it is you want, it's on sale at some capacity, and that's a great event. That's a great event, and
Yo, I see. I
and
remember
and
he's done
and
videos. I see people rushing through the doors with that. Yeah,
And
that's
that-
something.
that
Well, it's
ev-
one of those.
that event is timed really well too because it's after the holidays are over, right before
Yep.
the summer and the late spring when the actual regular cigar season and that especially in the colder area. It's it's early March. It's still it's not really, and that's a great time. They do that sale, and that is one of the better ones. Garofalo's
Well, it's one of
March
those
Madness
sales
is
where
one of the best.
it's one of those sales where it literally costs you money if you don't spend money.
And I don't know. I can't remember if it's in store only or if it also applies to twoguyscigars.com. I don't remember.
I think it's in store only. I think that's in store only.
I think it is too.
Yeah, I think it's in store, which I totally get. Like I
Mhm.
totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I just don't think it works at most retail levels for Black Friday in this industry. I just think it's it's unless you're have a bigger catalog portion. Like if you're
Well,
then I think
The problem with and like every other industry in the planet, they're starting Black Friday like in September. Black Friday in September, Black Friday in October. It doesn't have
yeah.
the same.
And
to
here's
go into your
Kevin's
point,
comments. Right,
back in
yeah.
like it's like COVID ruined it.
I was seeing a lot of clearances earlier this month. Oh, and I think Matt, I told you of one cigar. I said, Matt, look at the price of this. It just came out in March, right? I'm like, why is this cigar being cleared out? I mean, it just haven't even had a chance to get its legs. And I'm seeing clearance happen. I've seen clearances happen, and not just a lot of companies. I was seeing huge discounts on products at Atlantic and a few other companies. I was shocked at the prices I was seeing. Like they were the prices that I'd go buy and brag about it. I haven't really seen anything that I'm going to buy and brag about.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
it was tame this year.
I mean, I didn't get it on Black Friday special, but I got
I
got a box of the Davidoff Year of the Dragon yesterday. I thought that was exciting. It wasn't a Black Friday special, but
I wasn't buying.
I picked it up yesterday.
I don't have the. Matt's got disposable income. It's a little different with Matt.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I'm very selective with what I acquire.
I hope that's good. I hope that cigar's good. But
So is that tell us you're a baller without telling us you're a baller?
I also didn't pay full price for it, but that's nobody's business but mine.
Let's not be long.
So don't worry about it. But no, I'm excited. It's funny because we talked about packaging earlier in the show, and I'll tell you, when it comes to packaging, I've heard nothing but just nonstop comments about that Year of the Dragon.
Hey, look, the one thing they do great on those Zodiac cigars, and I haven't loved every one of the cigars, but the packaging is out of the world. It's
so good. So good. I
Yeah.
wish I had the box with me. I mean, I guess I could go get it, but it's beautiful, and it's not just the standard part of the release. There's a lot of other pieces to it. There's limited edition humidors that have exclusive sizes. Those are fantastic. They did an ashtray. They did a cutter. They did. I think they did 2 different humidors actually, and
yeah.
they're all
Their
beautiful.
humidors are gorgeous.
And they got all of the pieces. What I think they really like dove into it with with the theme this year, dragon scale, and they did such a great job with it. Like the ashtrays got it, the boxes have it. They have this raised, gold foil. On the ashtray, it's gold foil, but I think it's raised even on the outer, like the white box that the nice dress lacquer box comes in.
Yeah.
Even that, like the paper, the texture, it's textured in dragon scale, and it's like, it's the little detail that they got, all the little details, and it's, you got to give it to them. I mean, it is fantastic. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It pops. I think that we're gonna be doing packaging awards this year, and that's already at the very top of the list.
Yeah, I've opted not to do the packaging. It's too expensive. Yeah, it was too expensive to do a big set of it. But I would say that would, if I was doing them, that would definitely be a candidate. I think Pledge of Allegiance was one of the best this year by EP. Carrillo, I managed to snag a box of those.
I mean, look at the boxes that the Alfonso comes in. I mean,
yeah. Don't discount the Mirafell boxes either. The
Mirafell. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one too. I mean, beautiful.
They look simple, but they're not. It's like and they have inside they have those caskets or whatever. It's like the ashtray. They call it a casket.
Right.
Yeah. So.
But see, I like that shit because you buy something, and the packaging blows you away, and then maybe you throw away like the sleeve. But that ashtray, it's still an ashtray. Like you can keep that, and it's a badass ashtray. It's a nice classic, the rectangular porcelain ashtray that's normally like yay big, and it's like this big, and it's awesome, and it's beautiful, and it's well made. So it's like half the packaging you get to keep and just use.
Yeah, I got the EP Carrillo Oro series, which is the Chinese Zodiac humidor. This is a humidor. Afterwards, so they did a really nice job. I mean, Herklotz has done by the way, the Ferriotego Generosos and Elegancias, that packaging I think sometimes doesn't get to do what it deserves. It's
and
beautiful.
the Suma comes in those boxes now.
Yeah, really nice. He's done a very nice job with the packaging on that, for sure. I mean, that's another one that I definitely would consider. You know who who else did a good job in packaging this year? Sacco with the new unicorns. I think those coffins are beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is a great looking the box with all those coffins and
the glossy finish.
It really, really came out nice. Especially that the both the black and the blue were really nice. Yeah, so
I agree.
There's a lot of good packaging. I think it's a very competitive category for packaging this year. I think you can have a lot of options to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. I think it's going to be easier to do packaging than Cigar of the Year. My
list is ready to go, by the way. So it's all done.
Is it?
It starts December 8th. Yet the list is done. Yep.
I'm looking forward to that probably 2 to 3 hour of arguing and bashing and finger pointing and all that stuff when we finalize ours. But
I did it a little different this year. Where the resmokes, I used to do all the resmokes in the month of November. I did them throughout the year, a month later this year, and it was much easier to do it that way. So every cigar is resmoked after 30 days at least. So yeah.
I think that the top of the list is going to be pretty easy to do.
Easy.
I think
Yeah,
I
the
think
bottom was.
we have Kevin and I have discussed, and Nicole and I have discussed. Like think we all roughly know what like the top 5 are going to be. It's the rest of the list where we're like, all right.
It the
The
top
the top
10.
10 is probably not even that isn't even that
Yeah.
difficult. It's
The
everything
top 10,
outside of
the
10
top
down.
10 was easy. Yeah, the top 10 for mine was easy. The 11 to 30 was hard. There's like a small margin with a lot of those.
You know, we've been, especially the last couple of weeks, we've been doing a lot of the re-smokes. I know everyone on the team has been active on working on that list. And it's starting to make a little bit more sense every day. The more stuff we keep re-smoking, all right, you start to kind of figure things out. And this, and I don't want to mention any names. I don't want to give anything away. I want to save that list for when it is finally unveiled. But there's some really exciting stuff, and then there was a lot of stuff that was like, it's good, it's not bad, it's good. But is it list worthy? If it is, how does it rank? And it's just it's tricky. This year in particular is tricky.
Well, especially the stuff that came out that was supposed to be good that wasn't.
Yeah, there was some letdowns.
Yeah,
too.
there were some big letdowns, and there were some big letdowns. I gotta be honest. I look at some of the companies that missed my list this year, and it was surprising, and they had eligible cigars.
Cool. We actually talked about this, and it was kind of thrown as a joke. But what if someone did a list of like the top 25, or even maybe not 25? If maybe you wanted to make it shorter, but like, what if you did like a list of the most disappointing cigars of the year?
A couple people do that. All it does is
Ruffle
cause
feathers.
grief.
Yeah.
All it does, not even ruffle feathers. It's gonna cause you grief. You're just gonna get the phone calls and stuff. But it's bad if you get the phone calls when people don't make the list, right? Look, you know how you could tell the worst cigars of the year on my list? You go to the scores and you can see them.
Yeah.
So it's out there. It's out there. I don't need to put a list together. I don't need to re-smoke the worst cigars again. By the way, I've had a couple of really duds the last few days. So, it's just not gotten off to good. This year hasn't gotten off to a good start already. So,
the one thing I will say is, and this is as vague as I can be about it, is so far a lot of my like top favorites are mostly Dominican.
okay.
A lot of the ones that I personally have nodded down that I'd like at the top of the list are Dominican. And they're all kind of similar to a degree, and for many different reasons. And I'm not trying to tease anything. The reason why I mention that is just because it's like a piece of data that I've just noticed. Like, oh, okay. Like I looked at a bunch of the ones that I have towards the top. I'm like, oh, okay. They all kind of have that comment. So for me, this might be a big Dominican year in terms of stuff.
I never really thought about it, but you're right.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin knows what we're talking about. So, yeah. I mean, there's a lot.
I never really thought about it that way, but yeah, you're right.
Not that Nicaraguans weren't good, but just the ones that happen to be like the favorites are mostly all Dominican.
Yeah, I do a breakdown of that every year too, as I go through the list to see what the country is this year. There is, I'm not gonna say mine was Dominican or not, but it was heavier on one end, for sure.
Just something preliminary that I've noticed, and I think Kevin has now kind of figured out too. But just little facets of information that I find interesting, and as the list continues to actually take on its more final shape, I'll look more at stuff like that, and I think it's interesting because it's just an interesting piece of information you use after. Then you reflect on the year, and then you look at what's coming next year, and you compare year after year. I'd have to review my last 2 or 3 lists or whatever I've done so far, because I really wasn't thinking about it, but this year I was trying to follow trends with stuff, and I picked up on that, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. I'm actually gonna pull up last year's list and look at it while we're talking here. Where is it? There it is. Yeah,
we were very heavy Nicaraguan. We
Yeah.
were very heavy Nicaraguan last year, and
Yeah, so looking at my list last year, you had Alfonso at number 1. Number 2 was Arturo Fuente, Opus X, Forbidden 13. And then you went Tatuaje. And then you went La Flor Dominicana. And then you just went Nicaragua, 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 Dominican, Nicaragua, 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 Nicaragua. Yeah, it was very Nicaraguan last year. And I feel like this year there's going to be a lot more Dominican on the list. That's where I'm at.
there you go.
I don't know. I just think that shit's interesting.
That is, now you've actually made me think about it, and it's like I really wasn't considering the country of origin, but wow.
Not that it matters, but
We look at country of origin, company, and factory for the list, and we analyze the trend on that size. We look at the Vitolas also. How many Toros made the list versus how many Perfectos, and and it's always not too exciting because it's always Toro and Robusto. It's just which one beats it out usually.
right.
Size does matter.
Yeah,
So it does matter.
yeah.
It's funny.
I'm big.
I know this, and I know that there's a lot of lists out there that people make, and there's some that are not Vitola specific, and I think that's interesting because
I used to be in that mold, and then I figured out that you could have a bad cigar in that line, and you're giving it like number 5 cigar of the year, and there's a bad Vitola. You don't want to do that.
right. I agree. You got to be very specific because the size does matter.
But if I do review 2 sizes, I take the higher score to be the one eligible. So both sizes won't make the list. Is the difference? I know a couple people will put both sizes on the list, but I take the higher of the 2 scores.
I think we do the same too, to a degree.
Yeah.
In our own way. Yeah, I mean, you could have multiple cigars in a line that are great, but it's like, well, what was the best one? That's the one. Yeah, because I mean, you don't want to put the same one on there.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times.
Bear has a very competitive system with his, so he has 10 slots for 10 companies. One company, so it's a competitive thing. Like it's got to be the best from that company. So that's how he does it. And it's, again, everyone does it different.
We'll have multiple. We'll have like the same company on there multiple times. Just only one cigar, one size from, said brand. Like last year, we had I think Saka was on our list 3 times. So like, Mi Carita Black Saka Khan was on the list. Sin Compromiso Paladin de Saka was on the list.
So,
and I thought there was one more.
Here's where I'm going to criticize.
No, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not.
You had So this is what's very interesting when I'm going to find with people with their lists. So I hear people say, I don't do line extensions for my top list. And Papa Saka is a line extension. And I want to see how many people include Papa Saka on as a line extension who have come out and said we don't do line extensions for our list. I guarantee you it's going to happen.
Oh, sure.
It's because, And from what I understand, and Charlie can confirm this, Papa Saka and Saka Khan will probably be combined for the consensus. So it will be Mi Carita Black, because that's the only way he can do it, because he has to do it by line. It's impossible otherwise to do it. So he has to combine those in for so it makes a little sense for the consensus to combine it. So Saka Khan, he's gonna this is why I think Steve wins the consensus again, because he's gonna have Saka Khan votes as well as Papa Saka votes. Because Saka Khan came out very late last year.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, by the way, and no teaser, it's on the Coop list. Saka Khan's on the Coop list. So, I mean, you can look at my scores and you'll know it's on the list. Yeah. So it's gonna get points for that.
I was amazed.
I don't think
I was amazed how many people had that on their list last year. That it was as late as it came out.
Well, the best was the one. How about the 2 years ago when Paladin Dupont was sent to the media people, right? Sent to the media people. Wasn't even for sale on the stores, and it ended up number 2 cigar in the consensus. It wasn't even for sale, and it still ended up as the number 2 cigar.
I remember. This was a whole saga that was had. There was a saga
Oh,
of
I
Osaka.
got in a lot of trouble with
Osaka
that one.
saga.
Like, I got beat up hard on that one. So let me tell you, because I was very critical of that. I was like, if it's so good, wait till next year. And it was good. And it made my number 2 last year. So, if it's that good, it's gonna be good for the next year's list.
I will say that so far, the stuff that's not eligible till next year, stuff that's already come out, or stuff that's to be released, or stuff that we just know is going to be announced and debuted for next year's list. Next year is looking to be a much more exciting year list-wise, based on several products that we already know about. And
I hope. I'm not seeing it so far, but I hope.
Well, not that there's a lot, but there's enough where I'm like, all right, this can get kind of competitive, but it does remain to be seen. We have a whole nother year. I mean, we're talking about next year's list, and this year's list isn't even out yet. But so far I'm getting a good vibe for next year. That could change. Coop, that could change, but
yeah, okay.
I have a couple of ideas, and I'm like, all right, this could be good as long as it continues to happen this way. I could see next year being a good list. That could change. Don't get me wrong. I'll say that. But this year's list is definitely going to be an interesting one to put together, to say the least. So
yeah,
agreed. I haven't been involved in the media side of it for that long. I mean, I've done the review side for 4 or 5 years now, and it's just this is definitely one of the toughest years since I've been doing it, as far as to come up with the top 25.
Alan said, "I'm hopeful that McAuliffe Black makes the consensus." I thought he was going to say that he was hopeful that the new Trinidad was going to make the consensus. I don't know why. I thought maybe he would say that, but
he works for McAuliffe. McAuliffe Black was a good cigar, yeah.
It was good.
What did I rate it, Matt?
What'd you say?
What'd you rate it?
Oh, 91. It was 91.
91.
I believe
rated
Kevin
91 on some. Actually, it was rated 90 on Coop. Just so you know, if you're keeping score at home.
No, but I mean the black. I mean, look, you get him. We gave him 91. I mean, those are two different reviews that were very close to each other. It was a good cigar. I mean, I do anticipate it being on lists. It'll probably be on our list. If it got a 91, obviously, it's probably not a surprise. At 91. At 90, I would probably expect to see it somewhere in the 30 cigars on the Coop list. Again, just if you pay attention to, like Coop said, I mean, you kind of figure that out. So,
if you've heard what I said, yeah, it was obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I haven't really read a lot. I don't really read a lot of other people's reviews.
I don't know if McAuliffe
worked
I don't know if McAuliffe worked the consensus enough to get it on the list. It will be interesting to see. Because, a lot of what those cigars land on the list is who works the consensus. The companies that work the consensus well do better. So you got to keep that in mind. I'm not saying McAuliffe didn't give samples out or anything, because I got some samples for them. You did. But I'm just saying I don't think they worked it to the degree that some of the other companies did. So I don't know how it's going to do.
I'm looking to see how many other people have reviewed the McAuliffe Black. Because I'm curious. Yeah, I know we did. You did. I don't think Dojo did.
Don't know.
But
Dojo's different. They don't they don't have to have it reviewed.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
No, just knowing those guys from what I've heard, it's not going to be on their list.
I only know 3 or 4 sites that require it to be reviewed. Coop, Half Wheel, Developing Palettes, and a guy named Tiny Tim. are the only ones I know that require it to be reviewed.
Oh shit! How did I miss this story? This is an interesting one, and we can talk about this right now. So, Coop, I'll let you speak on this since you reported on this.
Mm-hmm.
The New Zealand generational tobacco ban is being rolled back. Interesting.
It appears that that's going to be the case. Yes, they have to. Yeah. So this is where I have to learn a little about politics in other countries, right? So it was the Parliament and the Prime Minister last year put it into law that basically if you were born after 2009, you weren't going to be allowed to buy tobacco anymore. And eventually, the idea was it was going to eliminate. It was a generational ban. Eventually, there'll be no more people buying tobacco. A new government went into place with a new prime minister, and what happens with these governments in like New Zealand is there's multiple parties, and the prime minister reaches out to the other parties, and they form what's called a coalition, and they kind of form this alliance, and they kind of agree to a whole bunch of policy changes, policy implementations, policy changes, and one of the policy changes was the elimination of this generational tobacco ban. I think it still has to go through. I think it still has to go through Parliament though. So it will be, but I think they'll have the support on it if it's agreed to with the coalition.
Okay.
So I think it looks like it's going to get repealed. The other interesting thing out of this was the UK Prime Minister, who was pushing for this in the UK. He said, "We don't care. We're going forward with this right now." So that was a big story. I actually saw that story on the BBC News, of all things, on TV. I sometimes run BBC News in the mornings, and I saw it. I want to say it was Thanksgiving I saw it. And, I did this story late in the day when I got home. But, yeah. So that's, if you're in New Zealand, that's good news.
Yeah, I saw that, and I thought it was interesting to see it already being repealed. And I'm like, oh, this was like, a big topic. And we've seen some states and towns try to implement this here in the U.S.
I still think they will, too. I'm really worried if the UK ends up putting this in, what happens. But it's going to be tougher to do it in the U.S., I think. I also think...
I agree 100%.
Yeah, and I also think it would go to court in the U.S. because the way the food and drug regulations are written, I think technically you can't do an outright ban. So I think it would be challenged. That I'm not 100% sure of.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. But again, I thought I saw that and I was like, oh shit, okay, wow, okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, it's good news, no matter how you put it. I think all eyes are gonna be on the UK thing right now. I'm kind of interested, with some of the changes going on PCA, if like what they're gonna do as far as that goes. How to get, because PCA is getting more involved internationally right now.
That's true. I know Mitchell, being in Canada, he's spoken to that, and Canada, for what it's worth, Canada, they're a good poster child for what can happen when you don't push back on it. As we've talked about tons of times, and Mitchell's been on, he's talked about it, and but I mean, I don't know.
That'll be huge news if it does get repealed.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the FDA got shot down, that gets repealed. It's been I guess, I mean, there's been some good wins for tobacco worldwide this year. I mean, it's not all been great, but
Yeah, it's definitely for legislation. It's been a year of wins for sure.
Yeah, it can always change, but 2023 was a good year.
Take them when you get them.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a good year. I think the whole appeal through a big kind of dampened a bit the victory, but it's still got to go through an appeal. So
I'm sorry for
So
that. I'm
I
sorry.
wanted to,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for
I
that.
want to talk about something that's not cigar related.
Oh,
That some
yeah.
some news came out this last week, at least for me personally, was big news.
Oh, yeah. What do you got?
So, and this kind of falls in line with Coop's jukebox shows. Um, Sammy Hagar announced something that for Van Halen fans is exciting. That Sammy Hagar, Michael Anthony, Joe Satriani, and Jason Bonham are going to do a Van Halen tribute tour next year.
Wow.
He actually extended an invite to David Lee Roth to come along as well, so they can cover the whole catalog.
So
So that's going to be exciting.
Is Wolfgang part of that?
No,
no, no.
no, because
From what
Michael Anthony's going to play bass. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but okay. So I had excitement on this. However, I saw the serious studio performance of Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony, and it was not good. It was disappointing.
really,
It
By the way,
was
my
so.
toothpick is thawed out.
Here's what I'm going to say, Kevin. Every
Ooh.
artist still has a great performance in them left.
Mhm.
So again, doing it in a serious studio maybe not the ideal thing either, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Was
So
that on Howard Stern?
yeah, and this Howard Stern perform. Like I said, they sounded tired
Oh, this is good.
singing the best of both worlds. I told you, they sounded tired singing the best of both worlds. But then when I thought about it more, Kevin, that's not one of the better Van Halen songs I want to hear them do. You know what I mean? It's not a
100%.
Yeah, so-
I mean,
yeah.
my deal. I mean, I've seen Sammy live with Michael Anthony and Satriani, and I mean, my big thing. I mean, is as world class a guitarist as Satriani is, he just does not have the Eddie Van Halen timing.
No.
So he
doesn't.
It's just no matter what it is, as good as Satriani is, it's still just
Yeah.
it's not Van Halen.
The biggest mistake we made on Jukebox, at least, or I made, I'm not gonna blame Dave on it, is we did not do an Eddie tribute show when he died.
Oh, yeah.
And-
We talked
yeah.
about this.
But we did do that. We did some Eddie tribute at the year. We did roll it into the year-end show that we did. But we really underestimated that one. We blew it. I mean, because Eddie's just so popular on our site that we definitely missed the boat on that one. And it was a scheduling issue more than anything. So we just skipped it, and then people were messaging us left and right on it. And then, well, he passed in October, so we were able to get it. We did weave it in pretty good at the year-end show. So we did cover it, but we kind of blew not doing a standalone show with that. I've seen Van Halen 3 times.
Maybe I'm
in my
wrong
life.
based on
and I've seen
Randy
both.
Bush's concert.
Yeah, Randy said Sammy clarified that David was only invited to
seen-
sing a couple of songs if he can remember the words, and he went on to say that if anyone thinks David is invited to tour with them, that the answer was no, hell no, I'd never go through that again.
Okay.
I actually
Interesting.
remember that tour
that was-
like back
But that
back
was
in
that
the
was
early 2000s.
that was a bad idea though. That
Sammy
they did
Hagar.
that. Yeah, that was a bad idea.
It was actually a good tour. I mean, Sammy did Sammy songs and did some of the Sammy Van Halen songs, and then Roth did some of his solo stuff, which I mean, a lot of people had never gotten to see some of the David Lee Roth solo stuff live. So
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good tour, but it was awkward.
Yeah,
I saw Sammy twice and David Lee Roth once.
with
But
Van
I saw
Halen.
Sammy with Van Halen.
Yeah.
But I saw Sammy at his peak. I saw David Lee Roth when he came back to tour with them in 2000. I want to say 2006 or 7. And I got a big appreciation for what David Lee Roth brought to the table at a concert. So it was really good.
It's like I've gotten to see like every iteration of the band. I got to see Van Halen with David Lee Roth in 1984. I got to see the first Sammy tour. I got to see the later Sammy tours. I got to see both iterations of them when David Lee Roth came back, and then the Hagar kind of in the middle of all that. And I mean the last iteration with in 2015, like the shirt that I'm wearing here from the 2015 tour, like Roth's vocals were just not complimentary to the band. And I mean, having Wolfie in the band, I mean, Wolfie's got chops, but I mean, it's not like he wasn't Michael Anthony. So
Uh,
I mean, there was there
he's
was there
improved a
was a
lot.
lot to be said.
Yeah, Wolfie's improved a lot. I'm gonna say that. Agree, he's not
Oh,
Michael Anthony by.
he's more his dad than Michael
He's
Anthony.
he's more of a he's more of a student of of music. To me, Eddie Van Halen still is the Mount Rushmore guitarist, in my opinion. He is just one of the greatest of all time. He did it in the studio. He did it live. Um, he did things with a guitar I never thought I'd hear a guitar sound like before.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching an
Uh,
interview with him one time, and one of the things that made Eddie so great was, and he said this, he's like, when I was younger and I was playing guitar, like, I didn't have the money to buy pedals and buy like the best guitars and do all this. So I had to figure out a way to create the sounds that I had in my head that I was looking for, um, by just messing with things and putting things, and that's kind of where like the Frankenstein guitar stuff came from, because
yeah,
he wanted, and I can't remember this exact parts of them, but like he wanted like the Fender neck, but he wanted the Gibson body, or vice versa, but he wanted the Gibson pickups, and he built the guitar with all the different pieces to get the different aspects of each guitar that he wanted, to make the sounds. And then he fucked with his amps, and he did things to manipulate and then play the way he could play. And then of course he becomes a rock star, and he can buy whatever he wants to, and it just gets better. But he at a younger age, and he utilized all of the resources that he could, to make the most of what his potential was. And I think that is also a huge part of what made him so great. I mean, there's a lot of guys, they were great guitar players. They experimented with different guitars, and they did some little stuff. But like Eddie, like sat down and like broke the guitars apart and like put them
yeah,
together, like,
yeah,
because he was trying to, like, I want this to be a certain way, and you got to give him a lot of appreciation for that too. I mean, he was more than just like a good guitar player. I mean, he was a Luther too. I mean,
yeah.
he knew. He knew the instruments, he knew the equipment, he knew the music, and he knew how to make it and record it and
Yeah.
play it. But yeah, he was just so good all the way around.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. We have a little bit of that, with Aaron Nielsen's father, Rick Nielsen, does the same thing with guitars. He's got the
Yep.
5-neck guitar he's famous for.
Yep.
So he does a little bit of that. Kevin, have you ever been in Vegas to Ed Roman's guitar store?
Oh yeah, Ed Roman guitars. Yeah.
Yeah. What is Ed Roman? Did I say wrong?
No, that's right.
What
Ed
was it
Roman
again?
guitars.
Okay.
Ed Roman
Oh,
guitars.
yeah, I've been there a couple. Yeah, so that's a custom guitar place that a lot of the musicians go into, and they moved recently. They used to be near Cigar Box was, but they moved. I haven't been to the new place yet, but yeah, that if you're in Vegas and you're like really into guitars, go in there. They're super nice. They'll talk through some of this. They do all the custom guitar work in there. It's one of the great places to go to.
You can get anything you want there for sure.
Yep, gaining you
I
want,
know.
and like, yep.
I know. Like I had heard a story, about Eddie, like back in the day, where like one I can't remember the school of music, but it was one of the music theory teachers was basically telling him he was playing something and writing something for the guitar, and they told him, well, you can't play that on the guitar. And Eddie just went in and laid it down for him and proved him
Yeah.
wrong.
I can see Eddie doing that, playing it, and then giving him that impish grin. Like, see?
Yep.
Because Eddie had
Yeah,
that
that guy's
impish
technique
grin.
was
That was
insane.
yeah. Yep.
Just yeah, I hope that tour comes to life. It's like I would like to see it.
I
It's got
almost saw
one.
them. I almost saw
That's-
them. That I got wind. They were supposed to tour in 2019, I think it was. And
That's when Eddie got sick.
Yeah, and
Yeah, yeah.
I had heard through friends at Live Nation, hey, they're going on tour, and this is where they're going. Don't tell anybody. It's gonna be announced. And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And then I didn't hear anything for a while, and I was like, huh. And then I heard several different rumors as to why the tour was canceled, and then it was shortly after that we found out that Eddie died. And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, damn, and I was all excited because I have a long list of people and bands that I've seen perform live, and there's very few that didn't make the list or haven't at least made them yet. Um, and that was one of the top ones that I always wanted to see, and I got so excited, and then it just didn't happen. And then when I knew he died, I'm like, oh, that's it, that's over. That's like one of the ones like I wish I had seen. That
Right.
I never will get to
Well,
see.
it's so sad to know that you'll never see Van Halen again, like ever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's agree. Agree, yeah. For sure.
You know,
I
yeah,
definitely
it's
agree with.
it's too
my
bad.
favorite Van Halen moments. It's like I got to go to Sammy's birthday bash at Cabo Wabo Cantina in Cabo San Lucas, and it was Van Halen in his Cabo Wabo Cantina with like 200 fans. So I mean, it was literally like seeing Van Halen play in a bar. That was insane.
That
And
is
then
insane.
there's a
Yeah.
cover group here called the Atomic Punks that covers Roth era Van Halen, and their guitarist actually went on the road with David Lee Roth for the Sammy Dave tour, and they were playing at Sunset Station here, and they did this little thing like, well, our freaking bass player and our guitarist didn't show up. I don't know what the hell is going on. You know, what are we gonna do? Does anybody out in the audience know how to play? Does anybody know Van Halen? Can you come help us out? And the lights go out, and they start playing the bass line from Running with the Devil, and they turn the lights on, and Michael Anthony's up like picking the bass with his teeth like he used to do on stage playing Running with the
Right,
Devil,
right,
and then
right.
then the guitar comes in, and freaking Eddie Van Halen comes walking out from backstage, and they played a whole set with these guys. And that was freaking insane because
You
that
know,
was like the Ralph from the Atomic Punks could sing Roth era Halen better than David Lee Roth could. So I mean, it was literally like watching Van Halen live in concert.
you know who I'd love to see cover Van Halen, like at least one or two songs, Radio XX.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would be good at it.
yeah, they would be good. Coop doesn't know
Okay, I
about
got
Radio XX.
I don't know about them though. I gotta be honest, I don't.
because that's what he's for. Those guys are from Lifehouse, and I can't remember the other band, but
Savage
they're
Garden.
the heat band. Those guys were freaking
That's because Coop.
insane.
That's because
They
Coop
are
didn't go to
so
TP
good.
the last couple of
They're
years, so he
they're a
don't know.
local band. Yeah, they're a local band here, but I mean, just wow.
Me
Those
and
guys are
me
like
and Andrew Tolsman
outstanding.
went to go see them at the barbershop at the Cosmo. So they did the party at TP in 22, and then they did it again this year. And I remember Kevin. I landed after the whole Phoenix saga that we were talking about earlier. We're in the car, and Kevin and Barbara are driving us to the hotel. And we get there, and Kevin goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, I think Radio XX is playing the party tomorrow." And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here again!" We got all excited, and then they did, and then a group of us were like talking to them after, and Andrew was got like in touch with Ben, and he was like, "Yeah, we play at the barber shop. You should come by." And we were like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, we'll come by." And they were playing Friday night or something. I was supposed to leave, but my flight got delayed until like 2 in the morning. And Nicole was 3 months pregnant, and she didn't want to. She's like, "Let's just reschedule." Well, we couldn't get on a flight for another 2 days, so we ended up staying another 2 days in Vegas. So we got checked back into the hotel, and then I was like, "Oh, let me text Andrew and see what he's up to." And so we met up, and then he was like, "Oh," he goes, "Radio XX," and I said, "Yeah," and he's like, "They're at the barbershop tonight. We got invited. We're on the list." And I was like, Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. And we ended up going, and it was like 8:15. We were at Resorts World. And he's like, we got to get over there like now. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And we went, and we waited, and we walked right in, and that was awesome. We saw them a third time. And I'm telling you, if you're ever in Vegas and you like music and you want something that's not like a big show, Barbershop at Cosmopolitan Radio XX, that's definitely worth your time. Go and check those
That's
guys out.
actually, and that is actually like a secret or
It's a
quote
speakeasy.
unquote hidden and it's hidden. Like it's not you have to know about or know somebody that knows about it, because if you actually walk into the establishment, it's a barbershop. They
Yeah,
actually have a secret door that you walk through to go back into the club.
it's a very legitimate speakeasy, not like a chintzy one, like a real
Yep.
good one. And they play in the back, and it's badass. It's small and it's intimate, but they do a really fucking good job. I mean, really good job. Those guys are awesome.
Yes, they are.
Yep.
Coop, you'll have to experience it sometime. I'm telling you.
No, yeah.
You imagine just Coop at a rock show, just being like, "Yeah,
Yeah, I can
You
see
know,
Coop
when
go over there.
um, um,
Yeah.
give him the horns."
unfortunately, I don't go to concerts anymore. But,
I know, I know.
But but I watch a lot of live music, so
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
they they
it's,
they, they do a good job for sure. So that's my shout out to them tonight. But guys, I'm looking at the time.
yep. I think we
It's getting late. I'm getting tired,
yeah.
and I think this is a good stopping point for the show. Glad the
Yep.
show ended up going well because it had a very rough start.
I knew we get you. I know I cheer you up. Yep.
Yeah, you guys did. I'll give you that. You guys did a good job. But no, it was a great night. Thank you for everyone for coming out and watching the show, listening along, whether you're live or if you're listening later. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all of our platforms, and always visit smokingtobacco.com for more news, reviews, and other updates from the cigar industry. With that, gentlemen, thank you for being here with me tonight. I appreciate it. It's always great
Yep.
to see you. Great
Absol-
conversation
yep.
as always.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Anytime. And we'll see you at the next one. All right. Take care, guys.